All right, and we are live. I am H3 the Game. I am here with another video. I know that last week we kind of skipped out on you guys, or rather, I did. And let me just say, hey, I apologize, and I am just trying to do better. We got some of my friends holding me accountable, and I appreciate that. But
Yeah.
you hear me say, yeah, so we know who's holding me accountable just from that. But today we have our normal guests that we usually have. Awesome guys. We have Josh, the Immortal Afro. What's going on?
Hello, hello.
And then we have Cross. What's going on with you, brother?
What's up?
So,
Just
but before
clocking
we,
in.
before we get into our topic, I just want to ask, like, what games is everybody playing right now?
Well, right this minute, I'm playing Ninja Gaiden Black, the first one, the good one.
The real
And
one,
then,
huh?
yeah, the real one. And then later, I'm going to play Ninja Gaiden 2, the real one. I don't want to turn this into like a rant about that. I mean, we got time, but yeah,
I
nah,
think we I think we got time later on. We'll get into it.
yeah, that's what I'm playing right now.
What about you, Cross? What are you playing right now?
Been going back and forth between playing Virtual Fighter and Kingdom Hearts 1 when it doesn't want to crash on me.
Thanks,
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, for some fucking reason, the PC port of it fucking crashes, and it crashes at the worst spots because you're doing the gummy world shit where you're like flying between planets, and then it crashes right when you get to the fucking planet. So it's like, this is fun. This doesn't make me want to turn this shit off or anything and go download an ISO of it.
Yeah, I
Nah,
know. Yeah,
it
something
totally
that
doesn't make me want to do that at all.
yeah.
The gummy ship
Fucking
is too awesome for your computer.
Play the
yeah,
official version, man. It's better.
yeah,
It works. It's better.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, right now I'm playing.
Fucking
This morning I played Wizard of Legend for the first time. Little indie roguelike game with wizards and magic and things like that. It's pretty dope. Um, Also, I know Josh got me into playing Ravens Watch, so I've been
Yeah.
playing that game as well, and that game is pretty dope. It's pretty dope. I feel like it's one of those games where it's kind of hard to play by yourself. You can,
Yeah,
but you
it's
really
nowhere,
have to be on point to play that game like by yourself.
it's nowhere near as fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's like it's harder to open up the map and get certain things because like I can't right now. I'm at a point where I can't beat certain bosses in enough time, like those Grim Wars. When you open up the Grim Wars and like you have like a certain amount of time to beat the enemies inside the area. Like I can't do that now, but kind of working on it. So that game is really really awesome. And of course, Virtua Fighter 5 Revo. Been playing that casually, very very casually, which kind of gets me into the next topic. Like I know we've been talking about it a lot on the show, but I hear echo somewhere.
It might be me in this ninja game. We turn it down.
Yeah, but I know we've been talking about it for a good little while now. But uh, what is everybody's kind of like overall thoughts on the game right now? I know like all been kind of playing it like pretty hard, but what is the overall consensus on Virtual Fighter 5 Revo?
I like playing it. It's fun. I dislike everything else about it, though. Like the way it was sold, the lack of communication with how everything was sold to where I can get all the stuff I want. It just seemed kind of annoying. I was having some performance issues. I don't know what's causing it, but I've kind of mostly figured that out. That's pretty much been the only thing just kind of like ruining my fun. The actual fighting and stuff is fantastic, when it works. But I don't really have any issues with it outside of how that shit was sold and the occasional performance issue. But I think I mostly ironed those out. So
Yeah. What about you, Cross?
Same thing. Yep, same thing. I really don't have any much else to add.
Okay. So with Virgin Fighter Revo, I I don't know. I like the game, but I'm having a little bit of trouble. Like since I'm a Tekken player, there's like a lot of things that kind of irritate me with how the game is. Um, I don't like the get up system. The get up system in Virtual Fighter feels really really nasty to me. Uh, just coming from Tekken, where like I feel like you have more options as far as getting up than what you do in Virtual Fighter. Then you got the invincible get up kicks. Uh, I hear some clicking in the background.
yeah, that is a ninja game. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah,
I'm
but
having a
yeah, I don't like the get up system in the game, but it's something that I'll probably have to get used to. Like I said, coming from Tekken, where like I feel like you have more options and things you can do.
well,
Like I said,
I feel like I've kind of gotten adjusted to the get up system because it's just a different version of Dead or Alive, and kind of understand how the game is supposed to be played. So I think the gameplay issues that I had before, I'm kind of I'm used to it now. Because at first it was just pissing me off because I was like, man, it's not doing what I wanted to do. It sounds like the game eating up all my inputs.
yeah,
But you know, watched a few more videos. I was like, okay, there's a way this game has to be played. Like the movement, of course, is dog shit compared to Tekken, but it's not supposed to be like Tekken.
yeah,
It's everything in this game seems very methodical. You have to you have to know a lot, and part of that I think because I messed around with the sidestep because at first I was like, what's the point of the sidestep and the string if you're just gonna get smacked by another move? And messing around with it, I was like, okay, sidestep is so you're supposed to know. You have to, if you don't know the strings, you're just gonna eat every string, just like you would in if you first play a Tekken, you don't know about Lars 111 and
yeah,
try to attack between it. It's the same thing. It's just different.
yeah,
And since this is more like Dead or Alive, I kind of had to play it as Dead or Alive, but condense it around that because Dead or Alive is based off Virtual Fighter more so. It's like a easy mode Virtual Fighter. So
yeah,
take Dead or Alive and make it difficult and add rules. Like, oh, you just can't go flying off the screen, off the stage, and shoot people with laser or whatever. But
yeah.
so that kind of helped me understand the game a lot more.
So I like the fact that I feel like when you play Virtua Fighter, I feel like it's just you. I don't feel like there's anything helping you. I don't feel like there's no comeback mechanics. Um, and if you do come back, it's like you have to skillfully think of how you're gonna do it. Like, oh, I see the ring. It's to my left. Let me little shimmy to the side so I can kind of get this person out. It's like you have to come back. You have to think of a scheme or something to make that comeback. It's like the game, the damage is like high, so coming back is very feasible.
Yeah,
Uh, but like it's definitely one of those games where you have to think about what you're doing, kind of like you said. Like there's but I do love that aspect of like it's on you as the player to do the things you need to do to win. There's no outside mechanics to help you, and that's
yeah,
the beauty of it. It's like when I lose, I felt like I lost. When I win, I felt like I won, you know, and that's the beauty of the game. Like I said, I still have gripes with the get up system, and then like I said, it's something that I'll probably have to get used to. But overall, the game is fun. It's fun. Now, as far as like the overall product itself, like the way it's packaged, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's like straight up bare bones. I don't even think you can like save your replays. Can you save your replays of the game?
No, I think that's something they just took out entirely.
Yeah, you can't even go back and watch your matches. Um, the customization is trash, like ultimate trash. Like I remember when I first bought it, I thought you were gonna be able to go online or play arcade mode and get different pieces for your characters. But it turns out you actually have to buy the DLC to get all of the customizations for your character, which is so insane. On top, I think like when it first came out, it was like 15, 16 bucks. It was discounted on Steam. But like to get the I think the 30th anniversary edition with everything, it's like 35 bucks or 25 bucks on top of the 15 that you were already paying at first.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think I don't like that aspect. The product as a whole is not good outside of fighting.
Yeah, it's like that's all it was meant to be, just the fighting and nothing else, which is
Uh,
kind of silly for a game this old. If they're gonna bother, we could put it through this new engine, the Yakuza engine. If we only did this part of it. It's like,
see, yeah, and see they hyped it up. See, they hyped it up so good that I thought it was going to be something more than what it actually was, you know. But at the same time, I'm still grateful and thankful that it is, on Steam for us to play and have fun with. I think that's the best thing about it, you know.
yeah, yep, as good as it's gonna get.
All right, so let's jump into the next topic, right? Um, Marvel Rivals. Now, I know that you guys have been playing pretty hard as far as like Marvel Rivals. Well, I don't know about you, Cross, but
Yeah, I don't play that game. I don't play games like that super hard. I just play them when other people are playing them. You know.
yeah. But I wanted to ask the question: as far as Marvel Rivals, is it still in the honeymoon phase? Is it still as good as everybody's saying, or has the honeymoon phase worn off as it comes to Marvel Rivals?
I don't think so. I feel like no one's like. I haven't heard any like, oh my god, this game sucks now.
Yeah,
Like a lot of games when they get to that point, it's like people are just they're just playing the game and they're pretty satisfied with it. They may have like individual little gripes with like like, oh, this character, I wish they would get buffed here or there, but you know, I
yeah,
haven't really heard any. I don't even know if I could say. I mean, like every game has a honeymoon phase,
Yeah,
because it's new, novelty bias stuff. But I I, I think that Marvel Rivals kind of got past that really quickly because this game is it's a game type that people have played already before. So
yeah,
it's not like Overwatch where it was like this was kind of new to a lot of people.
yeah.
So I think that yeah, no, I think it's doing fine. It seems like it's doing fine.
yeah. I think like they're handling the game well enough to where I think the only real complaints people are having is kind of like me. It's not so much with the game as it is with the people who play the game. Like I've kind of been taking a break off of it. I haven't played in about 2, 3 weeks. Not
Yeah.
because I'm frustrated with the game. I'm just frustrated with people who play the game because the biggest problem, and it's nothing I want them to change. Like this, it's not something that Yeah, because I like the fact that they let you choose whatever class character you want. I like that. I like having the option. What I
Yeah.
dislike is that everyone's a fucking DPS fag and no one wants to like be a healer or a tank. It's really annoying when you're like, because there's been memes all over the place, but you're trying to, obviously a balanced team is like half the battle,
Yeah.
you know, but everybody wants to be Spider Man, everybody wants to be Punisher, everybody wants to be Wakanda Man. And it's just so fucking frustrating
Yeah.
because, it's like, dude, this game would be a whole lot better. The games we played would be a lot better if everybody just, had a little bit of common sense. But I'm like, dude, if you want to play fucking Spider Man so much, go get Marvel Spider Man PS4. You can do that shit all day. You don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
But they get on this game and want to do it. Punisher got a game. Go get the old Punisher game on the Xbox, and you can shoot people all day.
Yeah.
But no, we want to get on here and go 2-12, and then bitch about getting heals. I'm like. So I was just like, me and Chris, that's kind of why we just stopped playing it for a while. Because like anytime we go in and queue, I gotta be a healer or tank, or he gotta be a healer or tank. And it's just like, you know what? Because for a while I let that shit beat me. I was like, fuck you. I'm just gonna go DPS too. Fuck it. We're just gonna DP 6 DPS. Why not? And then they like, well, we need a healer. I'm like, you fucking do it. Because like my main is Squirrel Girl, who's a DPS, but I got more hours on healers and tanks than anything.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, yeah, fuck you guys. I've allowed y'all to make me mad. So yeah, I'm off this shit.
The funny thing is when I started playing it, that's what I wanted to do. I was like, man, I want to do DPS. I don't want to play nothing else. I just want to play the Winter Soldier, right? And then I actually started playing healer. And I actually played Venom the tank, and I actually liked it. I honestly like playing healer and tank more than DPS now. I mean, I've been playing it, of course, since the last time I did, but like when I was playing last, I liked it. I don't understand why people don't want to play healer or tank because it seems like a necessary thing for you to survive. You need to tank to soak up damage, and you need the healers to keep you in the game. And and there's been times where like I feel like the other team was like really strong just because we couldn't kill them. Like you had the healer just healing everybody, and no matter how much damage you put into them, it's like they just there surviving.
Yeah, so. It's really annoying to see that on the other team, and you guys are dropping like flies.
Yeah,
that's and the reason why most people don't want to play those other classes is because they're lazy, afraid, or care more about getting kills. And it's one of those three, sometimes a combination. And it's just like, it's a competitive game. So it's one of those things like I can't help but get frustrated playing because you have to rely on your team. You can't carry a team. You could be the best damn healer this side of the East Coast. Doesn't matter because you got a team full of idiots running around just getting blown off, loading up the other team's ultimate, then you just get ulted.
Yeah.
Like I think me and Chris was playing against another guy, and he was a DPS, but you could tell he was a DPS that was trying his best. I was at a Morlock, and this dude was hunting me down. Every time I saw him, he went after me, which is a good strategy. It's like, Adam Morlock is a good healer. If you take him out, the team don't have good healing. But his fumble was that Chris played Penny, and Penny has these little spider bot things that if you don't take them out, you'll die. And his team was not taking him out. So he would kill me, but it was like he's not doing anything because this team is just getting obliterated. And when he go back to try to help him, Chris would kill him because he's a tank.
Yeah.
So it's like at the end of the game, I was like, man, GG Black Panther, you had me locked down. He was like, my fucking team wouldn't kill the spider bots.
Yeah.
Best DPS ever, but if your team is stupid or just not focusing, then you have a bad time real fast.
Yeah, and I feel like the game is just getting bigger. It's getting bigger and bigger, and a lot of people who don't play these type of games, myself included, are getting into them,
Mhm.
and it's just getting bigger and bigger, man. I don't see this game like dying anytime soon.
Yeah, it's on a good winning streak. Like with the way they're updating it, what they're adding. I've seen some people start to bitch about costumes, but I'm like, dude, you're like 3 months too late for that. Like these costumes are literally carrying the game
Yeah.
value monetary. So they like these costumes are kind of expensive. Like, shut up. It's too late. It's too late to complain about something like that. Because like folks gonna buy these costumes. I don't know what.
I mean, that's the only thing you can buy, right?
Yeah, pretty much costumes and season passes. But even they even did that pretty well. If you buy the season pass for like $5, you have access to all the stuff in there. It's a lot of costumes that you get pretty much for free as long as you play.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty decent for the game type it is and what they're doing with it. I don't mind that type of monetization strategy
Yeah.
because it'd be shitty if they paid. You have to pay a premium for the game, and then on top of that, buy all these costumes. Like you don't
Yeah.
need the costumes to play. That's solely on you. You want to spend $15 on a costume? Go crazy.
Yeah. I like that. And you don't have to like make a profile or sign up for some shit.
Yeah, just log
That
into the game.
Yeah, just log into the game and just pick whoever, jump in and play. Speaking of play, did anybody watch the PlayStation State of Play?
I didn't even know they had that going on.
You said you didn't even know.
Nope.
Yeah, I had to be told there was one, and then I watched. I kind of like caught it a little bit after it started,
Yeah,
and these the gaming industry is starting to. We know the Western gaming industry. They're very what's the best way I can put it? Well, they're infested with the social justice type, so they'll sooner I was watching this Caleb City video. It reminded me of this quote that one of the characters he had in there. So he said, "I would sooner die than let you have
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
your have your peace and quiet." It's like,
what?
I saw
I'm
that
gonna,
earlier.
that's that's
I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds
that's
funny.
just
He
like
always makes some really funny videos.
Yeah, dude looking
yeah.
around like the choice is yours. Either I
Yeah.
blow up the entire city or peace and quiet. And he was like, "Oh, I should have died."
You know, peace and quiet. Yeah, so that's how the Western industry is. They would sooner die than let you have your fun, you know? So
Yeah.
like so how it was structured for those who hadn't seen it from my perspective was they were like, okay, um, we gotta show you some cool shit, but then oh fuck, okay. So we showed them the cool shit, but we don't got a lot of that because it comes from like not America. And so all right, then here's all this lame Western shit. And then here's some okay, all right, don't go, don't go. Here's some more cool shit. All right, and finally here's some lame shit. Okay, all right, and then here's like kind of one more cool thing. Okay, bye. It was like that's how they had to structure it. And essentially it was, like actually not bad, but it was only actually not bad because everything from not the West was actually really fucking awesome. It was like, whoa, this is sick. And then then you would get your personal color game and you're like, okay, next. All right, next. All right, next. All right, next. All right. And then that I don't know if you ever seen that meme by Chris Voiceman, like this YouTube channel and Chris Voiceman, but he has this video called $69. Like it's called $69, and it's like a fucking it's a what do you call it? Uh, when someone like sings someone else's song and but they change the lyrics. But there's a song by King Crimson called 21st Century Schizoid Man, but he named it a $69 video game. And it's
What?
yeah, and it goes like he says remakes, HD ports, things that you've seen before on the PS3 and the PS4, $69 console game.
Yeah,
It's like that's what that shit reminded me of when fucking Days Gone remastered showed up. I'm like, you mean that fucking PlayStation 4 game? Oh
yeah,
shit, let's go, boys. We're
Yeah.
remastering. So it was just like,
yeah,
damn, fucking Chris Voiceman was right. He's been right for 5 fucking years.
yeah.
Like, holy shit. It's so
S-
funny. So
So
yeah.
yeah, it's basically so I didn't watch it either, but I had to get like the Cliff Notes version of it. I just watched like a quick video to see what the cool games were.
Mhm.
And I kind of listed a lot of them out here on this stream, and I'll go over a couple in a second. But it seemed like just exactly what it is. Like, hey, you remember that thing that you liked? All right, we bringing it back. You know, it's like so nothing too new, hun. It's just remakes and sequels to
Well,
stuff.
from the west it was, but like from the east, it was actually like, well, this is the only game from the west that was cool.
Well,
Shinobi. This,
yeah.
but this is made by Lizard Cube, and they made Streets of Rage 4, and they make good shit. So it's kind of like, all right, well, I
Yeah.
So
already knew about this.
they're from another country though, right? So
Yeah,
it's
they're
not
from
even
France, but
okay.
that's the West. They're
Yeah.
French,
Okay.
Mm.
which
Okay.
is surprising because the
Yeah.
French
Because I was about
making
to
good
say,
games is like in like what?
wow,
Huh?
good shit. Like
Yeah.
that's pretty tight.
Yeah. So this game here, so I'm a huge Shinobi fan. I've been playing Shinobi since I was a kid, man. Even in the arcades, uh, Shinobi 1, Shinobi 2, 3, Revenge of Shinobi. It's like this is the game that made me like ninja games, right? Uh, so with them bringing this back and making it as good as it looks, oh my god, this is like a Shinobi's fan's dream. And just the overall look, the style, like it looks like so. Like I said, my favorite Shinobi is like Shinobi 3, and this game seems like it takes Shinobi 3 and like dials the knob up to like 10. Like even from like the stone stage to the serpent stage, these are all like old stages reimagined in like the best possible way. And I am like, oh my god, like this stage here, this serpent stage is an old stage from like Shinobi 3. And
Yeah.
the way they have that stage is like so sick. Oh my god. It is so sick. And I
Yeah.
cannot wait for this.
The not to rain on your parade because I think that does look awesome. But I remember talking with Tevin on a podcast where we were talking about, you know, not this game specifically, but the whole concept behind them re-releasing the old shit, and Lizard Cube and Streets of Rage. And I remember Tevin saying that they should be working on another Streets of Rage, but because Sega is stupid, they
Yeah, they're retards.
yeah, they got Lizard Cube working on another game, and this game looks good. I'm happy that this game exists, but I feel like it's at a greater cost than what
Well,
it could have been.
I feel bittersweet about
Yeah,
Shinobi because, like, in one way, it's like Lizard Cube did it again. They brought something back that was from the grave in the best way that it should be brought back. Like it is this is legitimately a sequel. Just like Streets of Rage was a legitimate sequel.
yeah,
And it's awesome. Like that it is now brought back. But then it's like, but to what end? If it's
yeah.
gonna be treated just like fucking Streets of Rage, where it gets brought back in this way that's fucking awesome, and then that way it's just abandoned, so that they can do their little shitty 3D version of it. It's
Mhm.
like, bruh, like then why'd you fucking do it? Why'd you give them the license to be able to make a Streets of Rage 4? Then you're just gonna say, oh well, fuck all that. We're gonna do our shitty version. No, you hired them because you couldn't do it. And now
Yeah,
you're doing it for Shinobi. And so, okay, what, in 3 years from now, 4 years from now, you're gonna say, "Oh, Shinobi's back. They brought it back. They revitalized it," and then they're gonna make their own shitty Shinobi game.
Yeah,
It's
and
like
we could have got another Shinobi
we
by
could have got another cool Shinobi game instead, or so it's kind of like frustrating that it's under Sega. Like Lizard Cube and this game particularly, everything's cool. I don't have a problem with it at all. Like I said, like I would have rather seen a Street Rage 5, but if okay, if the situation was that they decided that they wanted to do, they said we're not going to make another Streets of Rage because we want to bring Shinobi back instead, then I would feel
mhm,
way better, because
yeah,
then what that says is that they're like, we want to bring these franchises back, and Streets of Rage has been brought back, so let's bring back Shinobi. Then we'll go back to Streets of Rage at some
yeah,
point. Okay, cool. I'm cool with that. But that's clearly not what's happening because Sega's
yeah,
making another Streets of Rage game.
yeah,
So that's not what it is. So it's like, okay, then you're just gonna have all this again, like Sega. Their decision making is it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like you're like,
yeah,
why wouldn't you get the people who made the last one and it was good and everyone liked it? Why wouldn't you do that? You know, but
yeah.
I don't know. It
yeah.
just
I think that's the best
Um,
word to describe it. Bittersweet, because yeah, I like Shinobi. Shinobi 3 was one of the first cool ninja games that I really thoroughly enjoyed with my older brother back on the old Sega Genesis days. That was the first Shinobi game I played was Shinobi 3. So seeing this is cool. It's just that, being associated with Sega is just immediately kind of like, you know, it's deflating. It's just
yeah,
like, yeah, it's all right. It looks cool.
yeah. I
I
know
mean,
you
I'm gonna get
guys.
it. I'm gonna get it when it comes out and play it. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah,
like I know it's gonna be good.
Yep.
It's just like the future. When I'm thinking about the future, I'm just like, it's a damn shame that I know this game is gonna. It's not only gonna be good, but it's gonna do well,
yeah,
and it's not gonna have a future, despite
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's what's fucking frustrating. It's like,
Yeah. I agree with you guys there. Like, you know, them making like a one-off game, and they're like, okay, well, that's it. And now you get
but
a
no,
shit. Now
it's not
and now
even.
you get a shitty Sega version of
Yeah,
like the
okay, yeah,
cool,
that's what I
Yeah.
mean. It's
cool
like
thing.
if they
It's
were
like,
deciding
hey,
like,
just give me the cool thing that you guys made before. I don't want your
yes,
shitty version of the cool thing. Give me the
Yeah.
cool thing. Just have them make the cool thing. It's like, nope, we got to make the 3D Streets of Rage for you guys to play. But like,
Yeah.
just, just no.
Yeah, like I said,
it's
it's
frustrating.
deflating. It's
And
like,
like I would actually rather if they were just gonna do a one off where it was like, hey, we're just gonna make this one thing, to celebrate because you haven't seen it in a while, and then don't expect anything else in like a long time. I would rather have that, to
yeah,
be honest,
because
because
it's
it's
better.
like,
It's
yeah,
easier to digest.
yeah,
It's
it's
like,
easier to digest. It's then you can start to think about, oh, I wonder what other dead franchise they're gonna do a one thing for. Golden Axe, maybe. Oh, that would kind of be
ooh,
cool. But when you're just like, oh, you're just gonna bring it back and then inevitably make a shitty version of it so that then it will never get made ever again. So you're gonna essentially kill it.
yeah.
Like, it's
Mm,
Comic
kind of
Zone.
fucking whack. It
Yeah,
makes you fucking frustrated. Like,
yeah. And the only way you wouldn't have this perspective is if you're just one of those people who like herder. I'm excited for new game herder, and that's it. And that's kind of like my issue with a lot of stuff, man. It's like I can't be mad at you for being excited, but I'm kind of mad at you for being excited. It's like, man, it's like, knowledge will go a long way, but knowledge comes with pain, and nobody wants to be hurt.
yeah,
So they would rather sit here in the matrix. I'm the idiot. Like, I often think about that line from the Infinity War from Thanos, where he's like, Stark. Oh, you know me? I do. You're not the only one cursed with knowledge. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I
And do you
agree,
remember what
Thanos
Stark said
sucks.
after that?
What?
He said, "You're my only curse."
Yeah.
Hey.
Yep, it's my fault. I'm ruining everyone's good time because I
Yeah,
know too much.
yep,
Yeah.
Like, man,
exactly.
Well,
You're my only curse. I was like, man,
well,
them Feige brothers or whatever the fuck they name was, they were good at what they did. I know I be
yeah.
kind of saying like they didn't water down some of those characters, but hey man, they did a good job for what they had to work with. You
Oh
know.
yeah, that's pretty tight.
well,
Man,
speaking of Sega, we got
Um,
Josh's favorite series,
man, let me look at this junk because I this is the third
Sonic.
time I was told about it, and I swear I
I
forgot each time.
I feel
Well,
like I. Oh,
I
go ahead. Sorry.
no, I was gonna say I want to play it for the stream, but sometimes the playback is so terrible.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's kind of choppy. I don't know why it's chopping.
yeah,
Something
like
720, not 60, because there's something to do
it's
with the
720, not 60.
yeah. Put it 480 because I think it's something to do with the StreamYard. It's like for some
Yeah,
reason playback on YouTube videos is really iffy.
yeah. Okay, well, let's see if I can play this.
It looked better.
Yeah, it looked like it.
Still kind of choppy.
Say what?
Still kind of choppy.
Still kind of
Yeah.
choppy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you know
I
what?
mean, we've all seen the trailer though, right? Like,
Well, I've been playing
Oh,
it on the side over here.
okay, I got you. So
mhm.
I'll let Josh play that on the side. But um, I've always wanted to play this series. Like seriously. Like I'm a huge Sega fan. I like Sonic. I like all of the different characters. I remember in one game they got Jackie and Akira in the game, right?
Yeah, that's the first one where he pops
Where
out and I think it's also in Transform
yeah,
where
where
he
he
pops out and hits the back of the car
yeah
to
he
boost it.
does the back. That gen is cold. So I've always wanted to give this a shot. In this game here, it looks like um it's expanding on what it's always done.
Yeah, this looks really good. The
And
the
you see,
racing series is really good. I think the game that I was shitting on was Free Riders and Zero
well,
G.
but that's the thing. They added that in this game.
Yeah, I see
It's like
that.
they added like stuff from previous racing games into this one, and it looks dope. Like whether you like free riders or not, just having it added into this game looks cool. Like really cool.
Yeah.
Like, I've never played any of the racing, like Sonic racing games. I know people who have, and they kind of have like mixed opinions on it or whatever. Some people say like all of them are pretty cool or whatever. Then some like they don't like one of them because I think like Transformed is the one that most people like because like it just has more things you can do. There's more characters and shit. But then like Team Sonic Racing is like just Mario Kart, and so people kind of like are like, you know, they don't want to play that. Some people don't want to play that. But this game kind of looks like they're trying to appease all the people who liked all three games.
Yeah,
Like they don't because like from what I hear, I mean this is like not my opinion. This is the opinions of people I've heard. Like the games, the Sonic Team Sonic Racing and like the Sega Sonic and Sega All Stars or whatever. Like they're pretty different, and
Yeah.
so it feels like this game they're like what if we put a little bit of everything from all of the Sonic? The only Sonic racing game I've ever played was Sonic Riders back in the day, and I loved Sonic Riders, the first one. But
Yeah,
I never played Zero G and well, Free Riders. I was never going to play because that was that fucking Connect game, and I was like,
yeah,
yeah, that's some
that's never
bullshit.
happened. That.
Yeah, like you couldn't pay me to play that shit. So I was like, okay. But Sonic Riders was fucking dope. That was such a
Yeah,
cool ass game, man. Like cool characters too that you never got to saw ever again. It was like, damn, you
yeah, I
give all
seen it.
these other characters fucking play, but you don't give any Sonic Riders characters play. And they're
Yeah,
some of the coolest fucking characters.
yeah, I saw they
Like,
put Jet the Hawk in here. I was kind of surprised.
yeah, I saw him. I saw him in the background. I was like, damn, that's sick. Like, so I don't think I'm gonna get this game because I don't care about games like this. I'm not a racing fan, you know. But I'm gonna be honest, if this was a Sonic Riders game, I would get it because Sonic Riders is sick.
Yeah,
And just to see that you can like be on a board, it made me like wonder, like, can you select being on a board or does it automatically like transform for you? And it looks like it transforms based on the environment that you're in. You don't get to like select what vehicle. So probably
yeah,
not for me, but like I could see the Sonic racing fans being hype over this. Like, you know.
yeah, and it's kind of got me too, because like this these games have always been like a compilation of like Sega's greatest games, like Cassia, Ace Combat, and the dinosaur stage from what's game was that? It's the racing game, Cruising. I
Yeah.
think, and it's like stuff. I like that. Like I really like that. But since it's Sega, I'm cautious because like even though this seems like a game they wouldn't fuck up.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, because
They'll
like
fuck it up in some weird way that you wouldn't have been able to predict. You'll be like, what? Why'd you do
yeah,
it like that though?
yeah, same.
Yeah, I hear the train.
Yeah, getting louder and louder. Sorry, folks, but yeah, because like yeah, dude, I can't trust this fucking company anymore. Because like the first and second Sonic racing games were kind of like out of nowhere. And it was actually good. The first one was kind of mixed. The Transform was really good. I really liked that one. And same thing with Sonic Riders. Zero G was just too gimmicky. Free Riders was just cancer. The first one was really good. So I don't know. I'm afraid to say I'd be looking forward to this game. I'm afraid to say because I
Yeah,
it looks like something I would like. I would buy this if it wasn't Sega.
yeah, I understand exactly what you mean. Yeah.
I like looking for like those little things, like oh, like in Transform. One of my favorite stages, Panzer Dragoon. I was like, oh my goodness, like it's so
Oh,
nice seeing
I,
that.
I don't know if you heard about how this game works though, like the mechanics. So essentially, like if you're in first place, or I think, yeah, if you're in first place, then you see how like those two rings will kind of
Yeah,
show up on the screen and they'll show different worlds.
so it's
Like
like
the
they
person,
decide which one goes.
yeah, you decide what world you want to go to. And then, so it changes. So you can change the track mid track, you know,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
yeah, to kind of switch. So each race is not going to be the same, you know. I
Yeah,
thought that was a fucking, honestly, a fucking great idea. I was like, damn.
yeah, that's very unique. It's like yeah, you get rewarded for being the best. We going where I want to go.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
if you got a shitty stage that you can't race on, it's like I'm changing this shit immediately.
yeah. And then some of the rings, you can kind of see it in this trailer. It'll have question marks, so not even the person selecting it will know where they're going.
Man, that's so cool. That is
Yeah,
so dope. But see,
Yeah,
like this type of game brings back a memory of like sitting at home and playing games with your family.
yeah, agreed,
Like
dude.
like
Like,
it could be like a shitty racing game. But the fact that you're there with your family and and if it turns out that the game is actually fun, to play, that's even better.
A game
Um,
like this back in the day honestly would blow people's minds.
yeah.
Yeah.
It really would. This would be kind of like a what the fuck? Everybody got to get this.
Hmm.
Like so.
I think that I'll probably there's one or two things that I'm gonna do. Either I'm gonna get it and play it, you know, with my friends online, or I'm gonna get it and play it with my little nephew um, at home or at
Mm.
his place. If he might even get it and invite me over to play it. So either or, both. This game it looks pretty dope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Pretty dope.
I agree.
All right, so this next game, man, we've been kind of seeing this game for years, man. We've been seeing this game for years, and it was originally like
It was a
made by one
PlayStation
dude.
4 game. Yeah, I think
It
it
was
is
made
still
by
made by one dude.
yeah, it was made by one dude, and I believe Sony picked him up to kind of make this game bigger than what it was going to be.
Well, no, like I think that like I think that it's still just him. I mean, like,
Really?
yeah, I think because that's what take it. That's because this game's been being developed for like 10 years.
Yeah,
So like, but now it has a release date. I was legitimately surprised when I saw this. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, Lost Soul aside, what the
yeah.
fuck? Like this
It's
shit
like
was like I remember being hyped for this in 2000 like fucking 15.
yeah. It's
It was
like
like, what the heck?
it's like you almost forget about it. It's
Like
like you
it
first
would
saw
come
it. It
back
was
up. It
yeah,
would come up. It would like come back up. You would see a little trailer or something, like every once in a blue moon, and you're like, okay, well, it's just one dude, I guess, you know.
yeah,
But like the fact that it has a release date now, I'm like, this was one like back in the day, like when I was saying like Chinese games that never fucking come out.
Yeah.
I was like, if they actually fucking came out, I'd be hyped. Well, here we go. I'm like, all
yeah.
right, well, shit.
I honestly thought this game was canceled. Like I haven't heard anything for so long. It's like, man, like I
I
forgot
mean,
about it and I thought it was canceled.
I would think the same thing. Man, like the voice acting, the English VA they got for here made me realize that the English dub don't gotta be shit. I
Mm,
think English dub is shit in a lot of stuff now because they hire just based on the wrong ideas. They hire based on popularity. They hire based on stardom. They don't hire based on who fits the role. Because
yeah,
the voices in there made me say, "Damn, I would not change that shit to Chinese. I would keep that shit on English because it sounds so cool." The guy
yeah.
that was speaking, he sounds so fucking cool, dude. I was like, "Damn, I want to hear
So
that dude."
yeah, but just looking at this game, it is one of the most beautiful games that I've ever seen.
Yeah, look,
Even like you said, 10 years ago when we first saw this, that shit was still like blowing everything away, and it's still blowing everything away.
yeah, look,
Like
like,
right
yeah, look
now,
cool.
yeah,
I know
uh,
this looked like. See, this what this game. One of my friends, he had a good saying for what this game looked like. He said this game looks like a game that would have came out at the beginning of the Xbox 360 era. He was like,
mm-hmm,
it looked the art style and everything looked just like it. He's like, but he's like, this essentially looked like the Devil May Cry 4 era shit.
mm-hmm,
And I was
yeah,
like, yeah, that's pretty much, yeah.
yeah, and super sick, super stylish. This is like the game that we were all used to seeing back then.
Yeah, games. Yeah,
Yeah,
video
with
games.
with just so much style, so much character, so much life.
Yeah.
When you look at this game, you see life in it. You see thought, and even just like the designs, like artistically, like the character designs look amazing and cool. It's like this is what we lost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like this is like some ancient super weapon that was lost to mankind that was recovered in the mine
Oh,
somewhere.
ultimate weapon.
Yeah, ultimate. This is the ultimate weapon. Yeah, like it's just I miss seeing stuff like this,
Yeah, and it's
man.
coming out May 30th. It's so soon. So to me, I like this. That's why I said this. What do you call it? This PlayStation whatever Direct or whatever. It made me say, "Hey, this year for gaming is actually going to be kind of sick," because I have like 3 games to look forward to all off the bat.
Yeah.
So I'm hyped. I'm, I mean, none of them are from here, but I'm hyped regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so we got
Hold on, go to that one above it, Tides of Annihilation, because that was one of the ones that I know you probably won't be hyped for, but for me, this was one of the ones that this was like new, never seen this before, but when I saw it, I was like, this shit looks sick. And
yeah, and that's kind of why I like put it on the docket. Like
oh, okay, I
this is
wasn't
my
sure
first.
you go. I saw you skip it, so I wasn't sure
No,
you're gonna
like
cover it.
no, the list I kind of put together myself because, like I said, I went through like a quick rundown of everything, and I kind of put everything that was cool on the list. And this is definitely cool.
Yeah, like
Right
this
in
is,
on the lines of like Lost Aside,
and for
like
me, this is above Lost Soul Aside, but it's like this one. I think is coming out at the beginning of 2026. But yeah, this one again, the English VA is good. That's why I was like, okay, yeah, they just hiring the wrong people, man. English VA don't gotta be cringe. It can be good. It can be really good.
Yeah. Is
now,
this another Chinaman game?
Yep, it sure is.
hey man, China is on a roll, man.
Yeah, because they don't give a fuck about any of this shit. Like they just make cool shit. You
Boom.
know, they said we want to do
Yeah,
this shit. No one's telling them, oh, you can't do that because X, Y, and Z. Like,
Yeah, don't mention Taiwan though.
yeah, I mean, shit. Okay, hey, fuck. You know what? At this fucking point, fuck Taiwan, dude. They can go fuck themselves.
Give me some good games.
Damn, we gotta sacrifice all this fucking shit, and all they gotta do is say, uh, damn, she got the Gilgamesh shit. You saw that shit? Pull out
yeah.
the fucking swords, dude. But yeah, it's like,
So, so actually, let me touch on something really quick. Like I remember in our Discord, we were talking about Souls likes in action games. So in the last few years, like Souls like games have been like taken over. We've had more Souls like games than like hack and slash action games.
yeah.
Now, what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer Souls like games or do you prefer like action games?
Well,
Before we move on,
I think everyone kind of has the wrong idea about Souls like games. I think people treat Souls like games like they're action games, but they're not action games. They are RPGs. They are RPGs. They are action RPGs essentially, um, and they are not. So people will be like, "Oh man, I hate the direction that action games are going in." I'm like, "What do you mean? Action games are going in a dead direction because there really aren't any." And they were like, "What about Souls games?" It's like Soul games are not supposed to be fast because they're RPGs. They are not supposed to be these fast-paced action games because they're slow because you have to build your character up to a particular point and that takes time because this is an RPG. This is not an action game. This is just an action RPG. Yes, there's action in it, but the act it's just how you go about doing the battle that is not turn based. So it is action. It's an action RPG. But this is not the game we're looking at. This is an action game. Like this is not an RPG at all, you know? All of it is about the action. So it's like, well, yeah, so I think people that's a apples and oranges comparison. but people make that comparison because there aren't really any action games around, so that's all they got. You know, they forgot what an action game is, so that's why when shit like Ninja Gaiden 2 and stuff, it feels like, oh, they're so revitalized. Like, oh my god, I've never seen anything like this before. It's like, yeah, because you never played an action game before. You grew up playing fucking Souls games, and those aren't really action games. Those are RPGs, and they never were meant to be. It's not like they did something wrong. Like, when you look at the origins of what those games are, they come from, they're just, hey, what if you were playing an RPG but you can actually do the stuff? That's it. Like, that's they're supposed to be. So they're not supposed to be like character action games, you know. So yeah,
Mm.
you need to compare it to like Devil May Cry 5 or like, and when you look at those games are not slow, they're not like Souls games. So I think it's dangerous to compare a Souls game, let's say, to like that, because then you risk like, oh well, Souls games shouldn't be or like this. The Souls like shouldn't be like this because action games, blah blah blah. It's like, no, you're comparing two different genres.
Yeah,
It's doing what it's doing correctly. It's not an action game. Like action
yeah.
games are completely different things, you
Yeah.
know. But I see that a lot. So to answer the question, I don't have a choose one or the other. They're different genres. Like,
Okay.
I was about to say what action games? All the action game creators are dead.
yeah, right. Exactly.
It's
What
like,
what fucking action game? The last one is Devil May Cry 5. It's
No,
like,
yeah,
we got Ninja Gaiden 4
eh,
uh
wrong.
on the way. But
Ninja Netta, uh, Vanquished Edition.
yeah, I say I like both. I think that I guess right now in this era, I like Souls like games better because I like the progression, I like the difficulty. Not saying the action games can't be difficult because they they are.
It's
They
a
really
different,
are.
it's a different type of difficult.
Yeah, it's a
It's kind
different
of like
type.
what Tevin was talking about. Like they're not; these are two different categories completely. So they're not even
yeah, they're
remotely the
really
same.
not comparable. You really can't
Yeah.
compare them. It's kind of like trying to compare a Final Fantasy boss and why it's difficult to comparing why like a Ninja Gaiden boss is difficult. It's like, well, they're difficult for two different reasons, you know?
Yeah. Like in the Souls games, I feel like you are you a regular man. Sometimes you're a regular man with a sword and shield trying to progress through this seemingly impossible thing.
Hellscape,
And
where
yeah,
everyone wants to kill you.
yeah, everything
Yeah.
wants to kill you, and you're fighting things that are like bigger and better than you. Like as opposed to like action games, like even though they're hard, it's like you feel badass from like the get go. You
Yeah,
like I'm badass. I know I'm dying, but once I get it down, I know I got this because I'm just cool. I'm Dante. Like
yeah.
who's gonna stop Dante?
Well,
It
well, that's
is.
see, that's how like the Capcom or let's say the like Platinum like action games feel like they make you
Mm,
feel like you're Johnny Badass at the beginning, you
mm,
know? But Ninja Gaiden, that's why, I kind of feel a certain way about Ninja Gaiden 4 because Ninja Gaiden is literally the opposite of that. Ninja Gaiden makes you feel like you were a bitch in the beginning.
mm.
Like they make you feel like, yeah, you can swing your sword and jump around and run on walls, but they can do that too. Now what? And there's 10 of them and there's only one of you. So now what's gonna fucking happen? And you're like, okay, well, I'll just, run on walls and dodge and do things better than you. They're like, yeah, but they ain't waiting their turn. They
Yeah,
all
not
about
Yeah,
to
at
jump
all.
on you at once. And so
I,
how you gonna handle that?
I
And you
cut
just
that
gotta
guy's
figure out the answer. There's no like, oh, you just do this. It's like, no, you just gotta figure it the fuck. It's like playing a fighting game. It's like you
yeah,
really just gotta figure it the fuck out. Like, okay, block this dude, dodge here, attack, 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 charge, use my invincibility frames on this charge to like you gotta play the game. You gotta actually get good at the game just to beat the game. Like, whereas in Devil May Cry is more about like getting scores and shit. It's like you getting
yeah,
good at that game is like getting ranks. It's like, oh, okay, like I was able to keep this rank going for this long because I did this big ass combo on this enemy, you
Yeah,
know, without getting hit. It's like they're
Yes.
kind of different games. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like they're the same genre, but how they go about expressing themselves in their genre is opposite. And so it's like that's why it's a bit frustrating um for people to kind of compare the two because it's kind of well, I mean, you can compare them. They are
yeah,
comparable, but it's
yeah,
like it's just like when people say they're the same, like they don't compare them. I guess is what I'm saying. Like they just like,
yeah,
oh well, yeah, this is a character action game and that's a character action game. They're all the same. It's like no, no, like it's like saying Tekken is the same thing as Dead or Alive. It's like well, they're both
yeah,
3D fighting games, but like how they actually go about like doing the same thing is actually really different. You know, uh, so
yeah. I agree. I agree. Now this game here, because I went into that topic because I didn't know if it was like a Souls like or an action game. So you can pretty much confirm that this is an action game.
oh yeah, for sure. You can just look at it and tell.
Yeah, I like how she this character kind of reminds me of the character from Witchblade, like the gauntlet that she has looks
Yeah,
like the Witchblade gauntlet.
yeah.
But this looks dope. Like I'm happy to see this stuff. Like you said, most of it is probably from places overseas,
I
but
mean, this is a Chinese developer for
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it looks ultra dope.
Yep.
But next game, I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with
Oh, okay. Metal Gear Triangle. Let's go,
Metal
dude.
Gear Triangle. Now, so let me ask this before I get into talking to this video. Like, what is your favorite Metal Gear game?
Um, if I had to say, probably Metal Gear Solid 1. I mean, it changed. Like at first, it was Metal Gear Solid 3, but then like over time, it became like Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah.
Essentially, mine is like 1, 2, 3. It pretty much goes down like that.
Okay. What about you, Josh? What's your favorite Metal Gear?
Definitely three. Mainly
Three.
because, like, yeah, I didn't play it at first. My first experience with three was watching my older brother play it, and it was like one of those cases where this is so entertaining. Like, I
Mm,
feel like I'm having just as much fun watching this game as I would be playing it, and especially back then because he was better at like sneaking games. I didn't really understand it, so that's why I like watching it. And as
yeah.
I got older, I played three, and I was like, this shit is crazy. And I think also the main reason I like three is because of the special stuff at the end where the time paradox and the bloopers. I was like, man, this shit is fun. I'm a little worried that none of that's going to be in this game because,
Yeah.
but even if it isn't, whatever. But
Wasn't that in like subsistence or something like that? That was like in that version of the game, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm a little like the reason why I like this game is because Kojima's not involved. It's one of the cases.
No. How dare you? Hey,
Uh,
blasphemy. Kojima is
It's
everything.
I know, but because no, it's like the opposite of what I'm bitching about in Ninja Gaiden. Because it's like in Ninja Gaiden, I'm mad because Itagaki isn't there. But in this game, I'm like, I'm kind of glad Kojima isn't there because all he's gonna do is like try to do some movie shit. He don't want to
yeah,
make video games. He want to make fucking movies. You don't get Keith
yeah,
Sutherland to voice Snake and do all this dumb shit. But in
yeah,
this one, they're like, we got Keith Sutherland. It's literally the old game running with the new coat of paint on top. Sort of, kind of like the Spiral right now, the trilogy direction. That's kind of what the vibes I was getting for this game.
yeah. They,
Like,
it's like this is just like literally a remake.
yes,
That
like
like
the way it's
no
supposed to be.
unadulterated, no like we reinterpreted the script. No, it's just hey, we didn't even redo the fucking. I think like they didn't even redo the voice acting. It's the
Okay,
same
that's
Yeah,
voice
good.
acting from the
That's
original
good.
game.
I think
So it's
that and
like
the same voice actors because back in the day, the woman that played Eva, I think it was her name.
Yeah.
She didn't get credited back then because she didn't want the creator for this game to go against a children's movie she had voiced in, because she's like, at the time that was kind of a thing to worry about.
Yeah.
So I think it was like within the last year they finally showed who that character, or who that voice actress was, and it's the same. Like everyone's the same. I'm like, yeah, this is literally the same game, voiced by the same characters. So that
Yeah.
makes me happy. And
Yeah.
I just think Kojima lost his way, dude. Like he, his
Well,
focus.
I think that there are a lot of Kojima like dick riders that never actually played his fucking games. Like, okay, there's
Mm.
like two people. There's like the Kojima like dick riders that never played his games, and they're like, but they're like they heard of the legend, you know,
Yeah.
and like they just want to be a part of the legend, you know. And then there are the people who have played his games, and they are very much like
Does it say
it.
Capcom presents?
Yeah, I think it skipped to the next video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, I feel like they want to be a part of the legend, like, you know. Or I mean,
yeah.
well, no, but then there's
In on the joke or in on the storyline and
yeah, right.
or
But like then there's like the people who are legitimately like they're part of the cult of Kojima, let's say, where this dude can do nothing fucking wrong, right?
Yeah.
And anything that he doesn't touch is fucking turd water. Like it is awful. And so to me, and they're like, oh fuck Konami because they fucked them over. They don't want to like have there's no nuance to the story. It's not well Konami fucking sucks
Yeah.
and Kojima sucks. It's just oh my god,
he's the
Kojima,
victim.
oh my god, he's a complete victim, even though he was vice president of the company at the time. And oh my god, like
Just call me
everything is
victim.
bad. Yeah, So it's kind of like, okay, whatever. Like with me, with Metal Gear Triangle, I'm kind of like the way I view it is like this, and I got to be completely honest. If none of that was true, and there was just, and I was being purely objective, I wouldn't give a fuck about this game
Hmm.
because it's just a remake of a game I've already played before, and whatever. I wouldn't feel neutral. I mean, I wouldn't feel good or bad about it because it looks
Yeah.
like, all right, well, it's just a remake of the fucking game. Whatever, dude. Remake HD ports, dude. But it's like but I'm not gonna lie, there's a part of me that wants to buy it and to do well simply because I know it will make Dakota Kojima really mad. And like and I know that there's no legitimate reason why this game would fail. Because so far, unless it releases broken, buggy, some shit like that, this is just literally a literal remake of it. And the only thing they'll have is, well, all they did was remade um you know uh what Kojima actually did and blah blah blah. Like this isn't, they couldn't do anything original, blah blah blah. And it's like, okay, did you buy Silent Hill 2 remake? Were you mad at that
Hmm.
as well? Or did you get into that? Because it's easy to get into the Metal Gear games, to be quite honest. But a lot
Yeah.
of people run their mouth about it and they don't play it, despite the fact that it's easy to get into. You know, um, but for Silent Hill, that shit is actually not easy to buy and play. Like
Yeah.
like it's actually hard to kind of play the Silent Hill games. So it's like, you know, you don't know shit about Metal Gear Solid, even though it's very available for you to go play it. And I don't know. It just feels like people kind of they just want the game to fail just because Kojima's not involved, and it's like, well, it's just a fucking remake of the game, and I could see if there was something wrong with the remake. Like it looked weird, or it played weird, or they changed the story, or
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you've heard nothing like that. And trust me, if there was some controversy about this game, other than Kojima not being involved, you'd have heard it.
yeah,
People would have seen, who would have talked about it. Oh my God, Eva's titties are too small, or oh my God, the voice acting is fucking redone and it sounds shitty, or oh my God, the game looks like shit, or oh, they changed the way it plays. Like you would have heard something, but you haven't heard shit. It just looks like Metal Gear Solid 3, but with today's graphics. So
Yeah.
part of me is like, I'm gonna get this game.
Yeah.
but the real part of me is like, you're not actually interested in this shit, dude. You're just hating. You're just hating. Don't buy no games just because you hating, man. It's like I know, but
I
I am. I kind of want to get it just to hate. Hey, hey.
so this game looks super super dope. And well, before I get into it, like my favorite Metal Gears are Metal Gear Solid 1 and 3. So this is like really really awesome for me because I love this story. I love the gameplay. I love uh changing into like the different like camos to blend in the environment. And like certain things you do to your environment affects the soldiers around you. It's just the different ways you can defeat bosses. It's like this game was so good. And for them to bring it back, it makes me wonder if they can do a new Metal Gear. I think this is kind of what this represents. I think this game represents like, hey, we're Konami, and we can make a new Metal Gear, and this is potentially what it would look like. I feel like that's the goal of this game, um, and we can make it without Kojima. I think is what they're trying to convey to like the audience. It's like Metal Gear is in good hands, and we can move forward without him.
Hey,
That's what I feel like this is.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of with Tevin on this one. I was like, yeah, I have no faith in Konami. Yeah, this is easy because the game's already done. So, eh. But like I said, I'm more interested because of the lack of Kojima, and like Tevin said, it'll piss off the right people. But as far as like looking at it, like Konami is like, look, guys, we can do it. Not really. Not really. This isn't proof of anything. You're just re-releasing. This game is done. You didn't do anything except show off your new graphics engine, which is not work. You didn't write the story. You didn't set up the cutscenes. You didn't come up with any other characters. You didn't do shit. That's not enough for me to be like, Metal Gear's in good hands, and then turn around and what was the last Metal Gear game they made? Survive?
Survive, yeah.
No,
Oh, it's terrible.
No, come on, dude.
I
That's
I
Yeah.
I completely agree. I think
yeah.
that's why, like I was saying, like if I'm objective about this, I don't give a fuck about this game because it's kind of like, okay, whatever. It's just a remake of a game that I've already played, and yeah, it looks like the game I've already played before. Okay, but so what? Like, there's no future in this because, well, they made this game so they can make a. It's like, what? They didn't make it.
Yeah.
That's like me. That's like if I created an original recipe for a particular type of cake. All right, this recipe has not been made before. I made it for, I don't know, a fucking I don't know, lemon cake, and it is the best lemon cake. You know what? You remember those Jackson lemon ring cookies?
Yeah. Yeah.
Those
Is that
motherfuckers
the
were
is
the
that the
bomb.
is that the cookie package with the guy with the poofy hat, the
Yep,
white poofy
yep,
hat? Yeah,
yep.
okay, yeah. You talking
Yeah,
about
all right.
yeah.
So imagine, that recipe, them cookies were the shit, okay? And you can't get them anymore, right? Now, imagine if some other guy came out and was like, "All right, I'm going he just got the recipe and he said, "I'm just going to remake those fucking cookies." I mean, I'd buy them, because fuck yeah, I want those cookies again.
Yeah.
But am I going to mistake myself and saying, well, now that means that when he makes some new cookie, it's going to be good? I know. I'd be like, nah, probably not. Like, you just
I'm gonna
found the
say
recipe, you
yeah,
know.
but I'm gonna say you never know. I'm
Yeah,
not saying
yeah.
that
I'm not
they
God.
you
I hate
never
the "I'm
know.
not God" argument, dude. It's such It's like, okay, yeah, I'm not God. You're right.
Yeah,
That's
no
bad.
one will ever know, but that's not
I'm
enough.
sorry. Yeah, we have to go
Now,
by
now,
probability, dude.
It's both
now,
ways.
yeah, I get what you're saying. It's like you have to, like you said, you have to kind of focus on what they've done in the last couple of years, especially when it comes to Metal Gear. They really haven't done shit. So
Yeah,
we won't know until we see. But just judging on what they've done, I would say the probability is low. I will agree with you there. The probability is low. But with that said, like percentage wise, how confident are you that they could make a new Metal Gear that's good?
That's
zero.
good.
Yeah.
I'll give them like I won't give them a 0. I'll give them like a 15%.
Okay. What about you, Josh?
Zero, because my thing is this, man. Like, I'm done giving companies opportunities to disappoint me. They like we're
Yeah.
good. They have overachieved in the art of pissing me off, and like the best you could possibly do is this. This is you peaked right here. The best Metal Gear Solid you can make is one that already exists. Just like with Spyro, the best Spyro game you can make is the ones that already exist.
Yeah.
So no, like if you want something new and good and brand new, play another fucking brand new like franchise because your old shit is done. Ain't
Yeah.
gonna be no Metal Gear Solid 6 and it be good. Ain't gonna
Yeah, I
be
agree.
Yeah.
no Ninja Gaiden 4 and it'll be good. Like, no, fuck out of here, dude. That is such wishy-washy, naive. I don't pay attention to nothing but the game name of the cover of the game when it comes out. It's gotta be good because it existed 20 years
It
ago.
is called Metal Gear Solid
Yeah,
6.
exactly.
Yeah.
That is the to me, that is not enough to justify excitement when you should have been paying attention to anything that's happened the past 15 years. And for people to still be hyped is what pisses me off more than anything. Because it's like, you know what?
Yeah.
It I don't know. But you
So
know, I am the bane of everyone's happiness. So whatever.
so I'll give it maybe like 20 20% because love or hate Kojima, he still was the soul behind this series. Like
Yeah.
Right.
nobody can convince me otherwise.
I mean, yeah,
And,
of course.
Yeah.
and it's like without him behind the helms, I feel like we're gonna get an empty shell of what Metal Gear used to be. Because like just the overall there were things in like these Metal Gear games that had no effect on gameplay, but they were just like the most awesome things that you can do. It's like you can just do it. Like in this game, picking up a snake and throwing it on the guard, and it's like eating certain things and getting sick. It's like there are just little nuances in these Metal Gear games that just make them so good. It's like the little things just meant a lot to me, and that's and I don't think that this new, well, not if they do make a new Metal Gear, I don't think they can do that nuanced stuff,
Yeah. I agree.
or if they, I don't think they could like their minds are insane enough to think of the stories that Kojima came up with in the situations and
Actually,
characters. I don't think they just like I don't think they had the mind to do it.
I'm gonna change my answer. I'm gonna change it to 0. Actually, I didn't consider. I didn't consider the fact. I didn't consider the idea that because you said if Kojima, you said without Kojima, right? And I'm like, well, the Kojima of today doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So even if they got Kojima back, you wouldn't get a good game.
Yeah.
Mm,
So it's
Yeah.
impossible.
It's
yeah,
not happening because like it's one of those things where that's trapped in the past. Just like I said, this is as good as it gets. The next best Metal Gear Solid you can hope for is Sons of Liberty. mistakes again.
Yeah.
So yeah, but this whole idea of anything new from any of these companies for the last 20 years, like, dude, wake up, dude. Stop
Yeah,
being so fucking naive. It's
agreed.
annoying as shit. And I'm tired of like being the bad guy for being the only one that gave a shit about it for this whole time. And oh, you're ruining everyone's fun. And like, yeah, you're gonna be the same asshole that gets the game and not play it because it sucks.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, dude, like if I
Oh,
got the game I wanted, we'd all be happy. But the game you're willing to take, no one will be happy. And
yeah.
it's whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. It sucks. It sucks. But getting to the next game. Um, Now I don't know if anybody cares about this series anymore.
Yeah, why don't I just play the first Descendant?
Yeah.
I might as well just play that. Like, why would I play this game?
Yeah, they're like they've also hit their heyday. Like I think Borderlands 2 was the last good Borderlands. 3 was a travesty from what I've heard. With the writing was off, the direction was off, and I'm pretty sure somebody who was good stopped working for 2K or whoever is responsible for this game.
Yeah.
And
Now
so yeah,
I remember playing this. Josh didn't wasn't me and you played at one point, didn't we?
yeah, I
We
love
played.
the first one. Like I haven't played the second one all the way through, but me and my friend Dev played the absolute hell out of the first one. Had a ton of fun.
Yeah, it
And,
the gameplay loop in this game was really interesting. Like the different guns you can get and leveling up, and it was so fun. But it seemed like, how can I say? It just seems like the overall design of the characters kind of just went downhill. You can tell there's like, this ain't it. This is not it.
yeah,
And
you look at it.
look,
Uh,
looking at this game, it's it just looks like the same old, same old. You know, it looks like the same game we've been seeing for like forever.
well, that normally wouldn't be a bad thing because the style of Borderlands is unique, and it was back in the day, and I think it still is. Like it looks like Borderlands. I wouldn't want it to change,
Yeah,
design wise. I think the problems with it are going to be what it's the culture around what made this game popular has diminished in game studios, especially this one.
yeah,
So I think that's what's going to be wrong with it. It's going to be things like the story, the writing, because people want to say like Borderlands has always been cringe. It's like no, it wasn't. 3 was cringe because of
When people say such and such has always been X, they're doing this thing where they like hyper generalize everything. Well, everything is made of stuff. And so like technically they can't be wrong, and so it's like, yeah, but you're not saying anything. Like, you're like, what are you actually trying to say? It's, again, it's just a dishonest way of speaking to people. You're
yeah.
like, come on, man, like, what are you actually trying to say? I hate stuff like that because it's like, no, you thought it was cool. There may have been little tiny bits of it that you thought were cringe, but
Or you
you
didn't think
know
that back then. Now that it's
yeah,
socially acceptable to like, you know,
yeah.
be this like, hard ass, this moral grandstander. Now
yeah,
it's too bad and
But
cringe.
then, but this the thing. They don't think this is cringe either. They're just saying that because, like, okay, this is the reality of it. A lot of times, I don't know about Borderlands specifically. I can't speak on that. But normally, when something like that happens, the prior thing was a thing most people liked, and then it changed to something cringe, and
hmm,
then people say this is cringe. And then they say, well, it's always been cringe. And it's because they like current thing and they think the past thing is now cringe because the past thing is socially unacceptable, and they're saying
Mm,
that's cringe, but they don't want to admit to calling the new thing exclusively cringe because they don't have the numbers on their side. So they just say it's all cringe. It's always been cringe. Everything's cringe, you know? And if you didn't recognize it, it was just because you were immature. And it's like,
Yeah,
then wait a minute, but you like this thing right now. And if I liked it back then and it was cringe and you like this thing now, doesn't that make you immature?
yeah. Why do you
You
think
know?
it's even here now? Like it's popular because of what it was,
Yeah. Like
but
it wouldn't have
now,
gotten to this point. Like people make this like fallacy of like, well, it exists right now, so it must be doing well. It's like that's not how success works. Success is not overnight. It compounds based on the things you did last time, you know? So like for example, like Tekken 8, right? People be like, "Oh, look at Tekken 8." Or you don't even have to bring up Tekken 8. It can be any game, but they'll be like, "Look at it right now. It's doing well." It's like things do well based on what they did last time,
yeah, the
because
history.
it, yes, it takes momentum to get things to these ridiculous numbers. Like it's like same thing when people say, well, Final Fantasy 13, well, Final Fantasy 13 sold really well, so ha ha, jokes on you. It's like it sold really well because people
the
like me would have
expectation.
bought it because we had an expectation of what Final Fantasy was, and we just bought it based on faith. But
Yep.
then when you look at 15 and 16, they didn't do so well, did they? Because hell, if you just even look at the sequels for fucking 13, they didn't do so well. And it's
Yeah,
because people now understand what it is. They're like, oh no, oh fuck, never mind. I'm not investing in Final Fantasy anymore. It's whack. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, you know, so like, yeah, things are built up from their past, and people have faith in their future based on their past. And so if something's fucked up now, you won't really see the effects of it until the next thing. You know, you don't usually see it unless it's ridiculously bad, unless it is supremely shitty, you know, and people have prior knowledge. They're just not going to, it's just not going to show up that quickly, especially when it's something like a franchise that's been built up over, you know, a decade or some shit like that.
yeah.
It has to be really bad.
I broke the law to get Final Fantasy 13. I was speeding my. I could have killed me and all my friends because I was excited for this fucking game. And the good thing I didn't, because I realized we would have died for fucking Final Fantasy
Yeah, I
13.
know, right?
Like,
Like, but that should tell you the type of excitement people have about Final Fantasy back then. Like, cause shit, like I was extremely hyped. I almost didn't get Mass Effect 2 over. I had to choose. I was like, fuck, man. You know, but I knew that Martin was going to get Final Fantasy 13 and he wasn't going to get Mass Effect 2. So I was like, I got to get Mass Effect 2. I will find a way to play Martin's version of fucking
13.
13. You know, I will find a way, you
Gotta be
know, but
strategic about it.
Yeah.
yeah, because ain't no fucking way. I got to get Mass Effect 2, you know, but like, yeah, Final Fantasy back then had the reputation, Square in general, they just had the reputation of they don't release trash. Like, you
Yeah.
know, for the most part. So they
Yeah.
released goated shit. So when
Yeah.
the next Final Fantasy was coming out, you were gonna be there. Like it was not like
Yeah.
you were gonna question and be like, oh well, I wonder if it's gonna be good. You didn't even want to hear anything. It's kind of like it reminds me is what was the last thing of that was similar like that. Where people were like that was with The Last of Us. When The Last of Us 2 was
Oh
coming out,
yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
like, hey man, I remember being in the Memphis chat and I was like
Bro.
telling them like, hey man, things ain't looking so fucking hot. And
Oh,
everyone was like, most people, not everyone, but the majority of the people in there were like, shut up. We don't want to hear about that. You don't know. It's still
yeah.
going. I remember. You
It,
remember when
it
fucking Marcus was like, I just thought about this. I remember Marcus was like, man, The Last of Us still gonna be doing well. It's gonna be doing great and blah blah blah. And I was like, man, we'll see, man. We'll
bro.
fucking
So
see.
I remember that time because I know the leaks that came out.
Yeah.
The leaks that came out for The Last of Us 2, and everybody was like, oh man, this can't be true. Please don't be true. and everything that leaked out was true. And I remember my brother, he's like, "Man, I can't wait for The Last of Us 2." I was like, "Bro, it's not gonna be what you like. It's not gonna be what you want."
Yeah, they didn't want to hear
And
it.
he was
They
like,
didn't want to
"Nope,
hear it.
nope." He's like, "I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna play it anyway." And this and that. I'm like, bro,
Yep.
I'm trying to warn you. It's not gonna be what you think. It's like, well, I'm gonna buy it. And he bought it, and he
It
was
was.
heartbroken.
Yep.
It was like so sad and heartbroken over what
Yep.
they did to the game. It's like, man, I didn't want to tell you. I wish I could have told you, but
And see, and then
You
people,
wouldn't have listened.
and but see, and this the thing though. Like at the time, it's like, well, the games did sell well. It's like, yeah, of course it sold
yeah,
well.
based on yeah,
Like it's going to sell well based on the excitement of The Last of Us One alone. Like just on that, it's going to sell well.
yeah,
Like duh, that's not my point. Like, but a game needs more than just the sales, the initial sales to survive as a franchise in the future. There has to be a general feeling that you can continue making this game and there's a continual like want for it. But
yeah,
if you make something and then people are like, you get like the general feeling you get from the gaming audience and the audience in general is, we don't want to see any more of that shit because it's tarnished. It's over. That's
I
why
agree.
Naughty Dog is making another fucking franchise.
I
They're not
agree.
making a Last of Us 3, are they? They're not doing that. They're making a completely different fucking franchise because they know it's tainted. They know it's over with. They
Yeah,
made that Last of Us fucking TV show. Almost no one fucking watched it. So they're like, okay, there's nothing we can do. We tried to rehabilitate the name of The Last of Us. We can't do it. We
yeah.
can't do it.
It's your game or movies in a bad situation when people know. Like on the lines of what you're saying, it's like your goodwill only lasts for so long.
Right.
if
Exactly.
you
You
keep
need
if you
goodwill.
if you keep putting out bullshit over time, people will catch on. It's like, all right, I can't do this no more. And
Yeah.
I feel sorry for games that get up to like number 4. They get up to like the fourth version, and maybe like the last two or so, or the last game didn't do so well. It's like, man, I don't know. I don't know. It's like how much goodwill is left with Borderlands. That's what I want to
Damn
know.
damn near nothing. Because after
Well,
3 and Randy Pitchford sucking the movie's dick,
Oh,
if you,
no, bro, I'm glad you brought. I forgot about the movie.
yeah, he
I
was like, "This
forgot
is
about the
this is
movie,
genuine Borderlands." Movie was dog shit. Had nothing to do with
bro.
Borderlands. Worst casting, worst everything, and the guy behind Borderlands is giving it his thumbs up, and I'm like, "Yup, rip."
Bro,
he probably getting a fat fucking paycheck and like then the ideology's wrapped up in it too. So, you know, he's like, well,
Yeah,
fuck what all the fans think. Okay, fuck what all the fans think again. Yeah, I got you.
bro,
You
I
know.
forgot all about that Borderlands movie.
yeah.
Good
Roland was
lord,
played by the shortest black man in Hollywood, and Siren was played by the oldest woman in Hollywood. So it's like, yeah, this is that's done. That's a
yeah,
wrap.
that
What
is
is this?
crazy. Like, bro, I forgot all about that terrible movie that came. That
Yeah.
is crazy. Um, but we got a new sequel to an old game, and I don't know what to think about it, to be honest. It looks cool, but we haven't seen this shit in forever. So Onimusha, the Way of the Sword,
Oh yeah, they announced this.
new Onimusha game. I haven't seen this series in forever. I thought they
Um,
were just done with this series completely. To
yeah,
be honest,
They announced this like a while ago, but we
yeah,
haven't seen this trailer. This trailer is new, but
yeah.
they announced it. Um,
Now, um, me, Me personally, I haven't been into like the Onimusha series, but I always thought it was really cool. Now, is this something you guys are like hyped for?
I'm kind of like cautiously just looking at it because I thought Onimusha. It's funny, like the first Onimusha game, I only played the first one. Um, wow, I can't even think of the fucking name of it. Anyway, uh, I only played the first one, and I remember like when my dad first got a PlayStation 2, that was one of the first games he got. It was Onimusha,
Yeah,
and so that game was sick. I really liked it, but I feel like when you bring back a new game, like old game like this, a part of what I don't like about what I'm looking at is I feel like this is not an Onimusha game made for people who are a fan of the original games. This is kind of like an Onimusha game made for people who never play Onimusha and want to get into Onimusha. And it's not that it looks bad. I'm not like, oh, this game looks like it fucking sucks. It might be like, oh, okay, um, I'm gonna like this if I play it. But right now, what it kind of looks like is like a modern like version of the game. And I guess like maybe that's what I should expect out of a sequel to it, you know?
yeah,
So I'm kind of I don't know what to think right now. I'm kind of
okay.
like I guess I will say I don't like the art style. Oh, I think it's a little too dark. Like I mean again, it's not that it looks bad, but uh I don't know. It kind of you know what game I felt like had the appropriate art style for Onimusha? Neo. I
Okay.
felt like Neo was like Onimusha. It was like that game was really sick. And people kind of said this looks like Neo, but
It
it
kind of
kind of
looks
does, but
it looks
Looks
like
but doesn't feel.
it looks like Sekiro a little bit.
yeah, that's what it looks like. It kind of looks kind of like Sekiro, and I feel like Onimusha. I don't know. It looked cooler than this. This looks kind of lame.
Yeah.
Like, like like I don't want to say that, but
No,
that's how I feel. Like
I,
it kind of looks lame.
I,
It looks
you know,
too realistic. It looks
yeah.
too like I
It's
wish it was
it's
more like I don't know. Like
no,
look, it's
I
so
know what you
gray.
mean. No, I
Like
know what
yeah,
you mean. Like so, in the past Onimusha games, like the main character has some badass armor, or
yeah,
a badass sword, and then everybody around him had badass armor too,
yeah. It looked
or
cool. It
look.
was like they were
But here,
set in that period, but then there were characters who had extra shit.
yeah, they were like, okay, this character is powerful because he has,
Yes.
super armor. But like, I'm not gonna lie, I get that, and I see that too in this trailer. But I like the way they have him, this character, because I guess it's supposed to be Musashi from
Yeah, I guess
from the trailer.
that's another
So
thing. I kind of
so
hate when they use historical
yeah,
like characters as a character. I just want a new character, man. Like, cause it's like cause I already have this idea of what Musashi is gonna be. You know, like and it's kind of like okay, whatever. Another fucking your interpretation of Musashi, and
yeah,
again, I feel like this is like the let's say a creative way of using the look at this guy, he's famous, you know who he is, right? Type of thing. Again, it's like creatively fucking lazy. Why can't you just make a new fucking character? But you have to use an old legend because you know people are going to immediately be able to say, oh, I know who Musashi is. He's the old samurai man, and it's the
yeah.
old samurai game. It's like,
See,
if he
Musashi is just a cool character just from like a historic point and just from like people making up shit point.
Yeah, but it's
It's
lazy. It's like,
it,
again, it goes back
it
to the realism shit. It's like, why don't you just make your own character with their own story that I don't know, so that I can get invested into that, instead of just like, let me get like a character template that's already almost all the way made up, and
yeah.
then I'll just adjust a few things about it. It's like, yeah, I already know that Musashi is like an unconventional guy who fights in a unconventional way,
So
because that's who he is. Like, it's not that interesting.
I think that from the trailer, just looking at the way he fights, I like that it's showing the skill of the character. The way he's parrying and blocking, and like right here where he's like putting up the mat. It's like I feel like it shouldn't have been called Onamusha. It should have been called something else, to be honest. Because the way he's fighting, I love the way it looks. It looks like really realistic, and it looks cool. But like you said, like it feels like they should have had a different type of character that was grounded more in fiction to where they can do more with. I feel like when you take a historical figure like Musashi, there's only so much fictional stuff that you can do with the character, because it's like you have to make him look like a regular man in the beginning.
Yeah, like, you're
You know,
limited, and you
yeah,
know how Musashi looks, so you're even limited to how much you can do with him.
yeah,
If he was like a character in there, like, in the game somewhere, maybe you run across him once or twice or some shit. I don't have a problem with that. You can do that, but this is a character that, like, I'm gonna be playing with. This is like a character I'm gonna be following around, and he has a story and shit. I just think it's fucking boring.
yeah.
That's
What
all.
What about you, Josh? I don't know if you went already, but
Nah. I haven't played Onimusha. I don't have any semblance of what the game is about or any expectations. I just don't trust Capcom. So no, that's a no for
yeah.
me, dog.
So
It's like when I'm looking at like this game is meant for me. Somebody who's never played any of the Onimusha, someone who doesn't have any clue what it's about. This would be the perfect jumping in point for me. But because modern Capcom is modern Capcom, I don't even want it. Like
yeah.
I'll wait until everybody else plays it, and depending on what the Onimusha fans say, will determine whether I think it's worth a damn or not.
So I'll say like I've never really liked the way Onimusha games played. I know there was a point in time where Onimusha games played like Resident Evil. It had those tank controls,
Yeah,
and I hated those tank controls, man. I don't know if they changed it like in later versions of the
I
game.
can't I can't say for 3 because I never played 3, but 1
Yeah,
and 2 play like that.
but if they change those tank controls, I'm definitely willing to give it a shot. But if it's the same, I don't know, man.
Well, it's definitely not going to be the same. It's
Yeah.
not going to be tank controls, obviously. Like,
Um, but I might give it a shot. I might give it a shot. I'm not saying 100% I will, but it's something that looks cool. Like I said, I like the way the parrying of the sword and like the character just showing like a classic type skill, swordsmanship skill. I like that. So I'll give it a shot. All right. So the last game, I don't know if you guys heard of it, but it's called Hell is Us. Have you guys heard of that?
I think I saw that at the show. I called it "People Are Bad."
People are bad.
Yeah, people are bad. Yeah, it's like, uh-oh, people are bad, dude. Damn.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty cool. It looks pretty dope. I don't know if it'll be actually any good, But as far as like gameplay and atmosphere and just the overall look, man, it looks really good. I'm not sure if this is going to be an action game or Souls like, but hey,
Yeah, yeah, that's my problem with Western games. They show you a trailer and you can't tell what type of game it is,
yeah,
and it's like, well, I'm not interested in it. I'm just
yeah,
not interested in in-game. Oh man, look at all these fucking uh like establishing shots you're showing me essentially.
yeah,
Like great. Okay. Like that, like it's not that just showing establishing shots is bad, but look, this trailer. They've shown us 8 establishing shots, 9 establishing shots
yeah.
now. Where is the motherfucking gameplay? What am I looking at?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of gameplay in here.
But don't you see, like that's the problem? It's like so much of this is like, okay, that's cool. I mean, I got to get invested into it, you know? Like I get that. Like I need to be like, "Oh, look how cool this looks," right? But
Yeah,
I'm just like, "All right, yep."
Ooh, a drone.
So it's like an action game.
yeah, and see, that's what I don't know
Uh,
if it's action or if it's a Souls like,
yeah, see,
but it
these are the
looks,
things that I feel like you shouldn't be asking.
yeah,
Trailers should answer that question.
yeah,
You know, like that's the point of showing a fucking trailer for this long and not like some teaser or some shit. You're supposed to be able to say, "Oh, I know what type of game that is." Shouldn't be doing this fucking Hideo Kojima shit with Death Stranding where you don't know what type of game it is until the fucking game comes out. It's
yeah,
like okay, it's a third person action game. That's about what I know. But I'm like, okay, well, is it like, is it like are you like what's the gameplay like? I just see him running away from shit and then he kind of like hits a person once. And then you have it
yeah,
slowed down. So the first time I saw this, I didn't even actually know what the fuck I was looking at.
yeah,
Like I'm like, okay, a bunch of art shit, essentially. And then he'll hit someone once. All right, cool. You
yeah.
know. But I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what type of game to fucking expect. But I
I
mean,
don't
the art
either.
style looks cool.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does look cool. But I'm like, essentially, this is like it got erased from my brain. I didn't remember it until you brought it back up. I was like, oh yeah,
yeah.
people are bad. I was like, I remember this fucking game.
But I'm not gonna lie, I want to see more from it, to be honest, to kind of get an idea of what they're actually going for. Because it looks interesting. I'm not gonna lie. Um, not gonna lie. But I have well, Josh, did you have any comment on this?
Nah, he took it right out of my mouth when he said, "Is this fucking Death Stranding?" Because like when the little gyrocopter thing off his shoulder, I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, I've seen this game before. I'm good."
No,
Looks,
you've never seen a game like this, Josh. You've never seen a Strand type game.
yeah, I know, because like that was also annoying. Like strand type game. Like I don't know what the fuck that
God,
means today,
complete
Kojima.
bullshit. No,
It's
it's
like
just bullshit. People buy into it. They're
yeah,
just
it's like
buying the
that.
bullshit, dude. It's
It's like that
crazy.
video with Kanye and Kobe Bryant. What does that mean, Kobe Bryant? More. like, so I was like, yeah, that's what that looks like to me. And I didn't care about Death Stranding, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like you said, establishing shot. Establishing shot is like, is this a movie, a TV show? Oh, it's a video game. I like playing those. I don't really like
Oh, he's running.
watching
He's
them.
running. Oh, he hit the thing with the sword. All right. Okay, so you can hit shit with a sword in this game.
Quite
Sweet.
dramatic. Interesting. What else can you do in this game? Run around some more? Okay, okay. Swimming? Floating?
Ooh,
Oh,
interesting. Yeah.
It's like, come
like
All
on,
right.
man.
cynical for the sake of being cynical. It's like I like video games. Give me video games, something to play,
Yeah.
Yeah.
engage, interactive entertainment, not this artsy fartsy bullshit. You can do the artsy fartsy stuff as long as there's a game first. That's what Shadow of the Colossus is. That's the
Yeah.
most artsy fartsy, but it's still a game. That game is literally a boss rush game.
Yeah.
But whatever, dude.
There was one game I forgot to bring up, and then that'll be it. And that is a little game that everybody was playing and raving about. Got really good reviews. Liza P. Overture.
Yeah, it's like
Now,
DLC, right?
I think so.
Yeah. It's like a DLC
Let's see.
expansion or whatever. I mean, I never played this game, but everybody who's played it, they liked it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
like it.
haven't played it myself, but I kind of want to. But man, this game looks really awesome. Like
Yeah.
so I need to play the I guess the base game because I've heard nothing but good things about this. And it looks like it's on the in the veins of like Bloodborne a little bit with how the world and atmosphere is set up, and
Yeah.
Yeah, this game's still $60. Jeez.
Yeah.
it
Game's
goes on
doing
sale.
well.
Yeah, it goes on sale from time to time, but yeah, for the most part, it's up there.
Yeah. The game
And I heard,
doing well. You
uh,
know,
Out of charge list.
they
yeah,
like,
I like the way this character. I love this character's design.
yeah, he
It's
looks cool.
just so freaking cool. Like I'm loving. We talk a lot of shit about games and gaming and how it is right now, but every now and then we have shit like this that comes out.
From
It kind of
Korea and China.
yeah, that stands out above everything else.
Yeah.
But any thoughts on this here, Liza P?
Not
It looks
really. I mean, it
like
looks like, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't play it, but it looks good for the people that do. So I'm happy
Yeah.
for them.
yeah, I'm kind of the same way because I think when Last Key came out, I was kind of mostly on the Dark Souls side of things. I was like, okay, this looks like another Souls game, and I'll probably get it at some point in the future, but definitely not in any hurry. So, yes, I get it eventually. It looks good.
All right. So that is pretty much all the games that I wanted to kind of go over, and I'll just ask one last questions and we can get off of here. But with that said, with everything that you've seen today, is there any hope for the future of gaming? Like watching these trailers, all the things that we've seen, does it give you any type of future or hope for the gaming industry? Can it rebound and be great again?
Also, I well, I know this game already came out, but Stellar Blade got a release date for PC.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, it's coming out in June, and it has additional content. It has the Nikkei uh, skins in it as well, from certain characters, and it has new seem like some new story content and stuff in there too. Like that is exclusively from the Nikkei franchise. So um so that's cool. And
Oh, I'm watching this trailer. I do see it.
I was pretty excited about that because that was actually the only thing I was looking forward to at the PlayStation birthday or whatever. I was like, man, just announce a release date for Stellar Blade on PC, and I'll be good.
Yeah,
But
that's kind of
got
waiting
more
for
than
it
that.
too. Yep, PC version, so I can actually play the game, please and thank you. Oh,
Yeah, as soon as I saw Rappy right there, I was like, oh shit. I was like, damn, they're putting the Nikkei characters in.
Yeah,
Like, damn, that's so sick.
that is sick.
yeah,
Like, and it's so cool. Like seeing Shift Up kind of like grow like this quickly, and they're just doing immediately what makes sense. Oh, Nikkei is super popular. Oh, Stellar Blade's popular over here. All right, well, let's just fucking combine them. They're both about robot girls, so fuck it. Like,
Yeah,
like
didn't they
let's,
do?
let
They also did stuff with Near Automata, didn't
yeah, they did.
they? Yep.
Like just stuff that makes sense, they immediately do it. Like, hey, let's just do this. It's like, man, I
yeah,
wish we had that type of flexibility over here. Where it's just, man, that idea would work. Boom, do it.
Yeah,
You
it's
know.
it's common sense. Why don't you want money? Don't you want to be successful? Not over here. Put more androgynous trans men girl things in there. Yeah, that's what we like. What's the name of that fucking game with that bald bitch? Uh,
I don't know.
what?
yeah, that game. That's what
I
we
don't
want.
know.
We want more of that shit. It's the new game that Naughty Dog is working on since Last of Us is gone.
Oh, I know what you're talking about with all of the advertisement in the trailer.
Yeah, and the Akira reference.
Yeah,
Like,
Anime is cool now. We don't hate it anymore.
it's like you guys like
Unless
Nikes. We like Nikes too.
yeah.
Whatever.
You say like, is there hope for gaming? I do have hope, but not from watching any of this shit. I am totally locked in on like the indie scene, and I'm more interested in like what the guys behind uh Ravens Watch are gonna do next. They really, that's what I care about. I want to see like some dude in his basement come up with some sick shit, or some startup development team with nothing but the clothes on their backs and their mom's lunch money. I want to see what they come up with.
Yeah,
But this AAA shit, like, unless it's coming from Korea or China, then who gives a fuck? Like, that's the only two places developing anything that's interesting right now. It seems like.
yeah.
And, and what happened to my project, Reawaken? Where's that game? Give me my project Awaken in China. China.
in another 10 years, wait for Donald Trump. Even though he won't be president, to yell at them for some reason.
Yeah.
But
You should look
no.
that up. You should look that up, Herbert. Project Awaken.
Project Awakening.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But I'm pretty much where Josh is. I think that I'm guessing you're asking like, do we have any hope for the future of mainstream gaming? You know, um, basically no. Because if they go down the path
Second
that they're
one.
continuing to going, um, they're just gonna die, and they're gonna get bought out by China and, well, China, and because Korea's not gonna buy them, Korea's just gonna do their own thing, and then like things might get better, but then everything will be from a Chinese perspective,
Yeah.
and like that'll be better, but that won't be necessarily what I wanted. I kind of, because American stuff, when people are allowed to actually like express themselves without the fear of being persecuted or called like the worst things on the planet, they actually make some cool shit. But
Yeah,
I don't want all that shit to be erased. You know,
yeah.
like
Me, I
I
feel
like
the top.
black women when they
Yeah.
aren't always the same ugly like Deborah Wilson model. It's like, like you
Yeah.
make attractive black women, just why they always have to be Deborah Wilson. Like this is the problem. It's
Yeah,
like China, they're not gonna make any black women. They're just gonna say, nah, fuck that. Like, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, I can live with that future. But it's like, why can't we just have Sheva?
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Yeah,
like there's a future where that can exist. And
yeah.
it's really annoying, but that's how it's got to be. So, no, I don't really have any faith in who's currently running the industry. They're going to continue doing what they're going to do, and they'll die. They'll die on that hill. So, no.
So I feel the tide turning. Damn, that thing is after him. But he looking down on me like I'm finna get you. Um, but I feel the tide turning, man. I feel the tide turning. I think we still gonna have like that woke shit, some of that woke shit in gaming. But it's obvious that that shit is failing. It's failing, and something got to change. And I feel like these companies they are starting to change their tune, if just a little bit. And just looking at this stuff, this stuff to me looks like trailers from the past. It looks like, man, these games look amazing. It looked like stuff I want to play. And like the last couple of years, I haven't really been able to say that, to be honest.
You mean
You know,
from Western games?
just games in general,
Well, I
like
mean, but
just
we have to
Western
make a.
games, overseas, like the Final Fantasy games are like trash. Have been trash.
Oh, okay. I see.
Uh,
Okay, I
like
misinterpreted what you said. Okay.
um, like a lot of the Capcom games have been trash. It's just gaming in general for
Yeah.
me. Um, like there's nothing from anybody that has come out in the last couple of years that I was like, man, I want to buy. Like we still buying like old shit. Virgin Fighter Five Revo. How many times that shit been released? You
Yeah.
know,
Yes.
Yeah. Time.
it's like,
So
but I've been playing a lot of indie games, but kind of like you said, I guess you have to make a distinction between mainstream gaming and indie gaming. Indie gaming, like we've said before, is awesome. People are making the shit they want to make without any big wigs telling them they can't.
yep.
Yeah.
And then when somebody tries to, there's always an alternate path to get it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
so. It's
Yeah,
not like okay, sure. You know.
but mainstream gaming, I think I'm seeing a shift. So
I guess my
I
question
have,
would
I
be,
have hope.
where do you see the shift?
I see the shift in, as far as, I guess, like the last couple of years where these people have tried to make a certain type of game and it's being rejected on all cylinders. Like they're failing. Nobody wants to play it. Like you said, we want games with attractive people in it. We can't get that. They have to look a certain way. They have to be a certain way. Uh, but it seems like with all of them failing, everybody's trying to go in a different direction. Even
Uh,
with like, what was the game that failed? Oh, like with the Dragon Age, the Veil Guard.
right.
You know
Okay.
that
That's what I
that
want to ask.
that game, didn't live up to the numbers that they wanted to, you know, get. And then of course we got Mass Effect that's being like, in the same, which is the same company, right?
Yeah,
So
Bioware. Yeah.
right,
Like,
the
but
same company. So they came out like, hey, online and on Twitter, they was asking like, hey, is Mass Effect gonna be like this? They're like, oh no, no, no. We're trying to distance ourselves from what they did in that game. We got nothing to do with that. So it's like people are trying to distance themselves from what is not working. Yeah, you
okay.
can say quote unquote, you can do that.
Okay.
But
Okay.
they're trying to distance themselves from that type of game.
Okay. That is one legitimate example that I'll give you. That the people working on Mass Effect legitimately came out with a which wouldn't have been done, let's say 5 years ago. They would not have done this, but they legitimately came out with unprovoked. Like no one asked them to come out with a statement like this. It wasn't like
No,
you
no,
guys need to come
no.
out and tell us about people were just like, oh yeah, Mass Effect's cooked. It has to be because Bioware made it. Like that's how people
Yeah,
were like, oh well, this thing's it's already cooked.
and
People were like,
they were
so
quick.
they
They was
had to
like,
come
no,
out with a
no,
statement
no.
that was like, hey, we literally got rid of almost all of those people. And we got rid of 100 people. And we are quite confident that we can make a Mass Effect game. We don't need all the people in the world to make a Mass Effect game. We just got it the OG people who were working on it, like this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. And I'm like, okay, I remember those names, and they are telling the truth that those people are some of the original people behind it, and they were key people. So this does sound like a legitimate thing. However,
Yeah,
um, those people are not the same people that they used to be. They are
that
not the 2009 version of whoever they were. But again,
that's
like
true.
I will still give that to you that they are at least acting
Yeah,
unprovoked. Like, oh no, we're totally not going to be
They're,
like that,
they're
right?
claiming.
yeah.
Yeah, they're
Well,
claiming. Yeah, they're claiming. I'm not saying they're actually going to do it. I'm just saying like if you know is there something that can make you believe that they're actually going to change something, even if it's like tiny and small? Is there something, at least that's something?
yeah,
But besides that, I have not seen
yeah,
any indication that they would change.
yeah. And it's like time will tell, but it goes back to kind of what you were saying earlier. Like it takes time for people to see that, okay, they're not producing great stuff anymore. The goodwill is gone. It's fleeting. It's fleeting fast. And these companies are trying to change their tune because they know that, okay, it's not just like they know, it's like the numbers and sales are reflecting how people are feeling about these games.
This is
So
this is the problem. They're not people.
mm,
The people I'm talking about aren't people. They are ideologues.
mm,
They are like people. They have thoughts. Me and you, like we may agree or disagree on something, right? And we come at it from our own perspective on what we thought about it, right? Like our own opinion that we formed, based on our experiences and what we like and dislike, our biases and all that jazz, right? And we have a discussion to try and fill in the gaps as much as possible. An ideologue doesn't do any of that because it's already solved. It's already solved. All the problems are solved. Their ideology answers that question, and they're not going to change. Like, they're not going to change because sales are down. They're not going to change because they're just going to get fired and then rehired somewhere else. And then somewhere else, and then that person that fired them, they're just going to rehire someone else that got recently fired from some other place or whatever. And it's just it's a ecosystem that
Revolving
is,
door.
yes. And so like the thing is that like I don't think you can use the, let's say, the public's awareness growing, and let's say their um tolerance of it waning as evidence that these people are going to change. It's like, no, they're just going to become more solidified in what they're doing.
yeah. And which is
Like,
crazy you bring that up because the I think the head what's it, the head director or head writer or one of the writers for Dragon Age Veilguard, I think the team that does Baldur's Gate 3 picked up one of those people.
no,
I can't remember if it's the
you
director or
got
the writer, right?
you got it wrong. So,
Okay, it's wrong. Okay,
yeah,
correct me.
yeah, yeah. Like almost got it right. So essentially, yes, the lead writer for Veilguard, you know, uh we don't know if they got fired or they left, but it just happens amongst one of a bunch of the employees that left, right?
Yeah.
Um uh the development Larian Studios, who made Baldur's Gate 3. So I had to give a bit of history. When they made Baldur's Gate 3, people were like, "Oh, okay, so you're going to make Baldur's Gate 4, you're going to make expansions, you're going to make all this stuff, right?" And Larian said, "No, there's no need.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
not going to make a 4. We're not going to make DLC. We're not going to make anything. This is the game that we wanted to make, and that's that. We're moving on
Yeah.
to our franchises because they don't own Baldur's Gate 3. Wizards of the Coast owns a Baldur's Gate and stuff like that. So
Okay.
they only had like permission to work on it. And so now that they essentially said we don't want to do the next one, you know, they have to find somebody else to do it. And so they're building, I don't know if they're building a team of people or if whatever, but yeah. So it's rumored that she's going to be could be the next writer of the Baldur's Gate 4. And yeah, that's what I
Okay.
need.
So the studio that made the awesome Baldur's Gate 3 has nothing to do with the next Baldur's Gate
Right,
game. Okay.
right,
I
exactly.
got you. Well, I mean, still, still, like that person that wrote the game is still moving on to a different project
Yeah,
and
yeah,
potentially is going to mess up another series.
yeah, but
Potentially.
it's
Who
yeah, I
will?
mean, she will. Like if they hire
He says
but
she will.
the thing is whatever she gets hired on, she will. Like, right? It's like and whether it be Baldur's Gate 4 or not. And Larian Studios is just they're a great studio anyway. They were great before they made Baldur's Gate 3. And so yeah, like they made a game that no one else would have made now. And so when they make their next game, see what they did was really smart. They understood that if they made another Baldur's Gate game, that people would start to associate like the success of this game with the franchise of Baldur's Gate
Yeah.
and not Larian Studios. Because immediately when
Yeah.
they said, "We're not making another one, we making our own, we're going back to making our own shit," people were like, "Oh, I guess
Yeah.
I'm going to be waiting for Divinity 3 then."
It's
Like,
over.
okay, I see you. All right. Well, this was a good way for people who had never played any of Larian Studio stuff to see, oh, Larian is fucking badass. Okay, well,
Time to do
shit.
some homework.
Yeah, time to do some homework. I'll go back. Man, that area of the game is so sick. Man, Catherick Storm. Man, this game is so sick. Dude, it's just like I'm seeing certain parts of it now. And it's just like certain parts are so sick in this game, dude. I'll
Yeah.
never talk about this shit. Man, when you come to this part, that's so sick. There's so many cool parts when they showing the three bosses, bro.
Yeah.
Like they're
Yeah.
like,
It's
join me amongst the chosen, dude. Oh, dude.
it's like so we will never get a Baldur's Gate 3 again
I mean, you'll get it
from the
from Larry.
sounds of
You'll get a game from Larian Studios. That would be another great RPG, probably. But you know,
but
Baldur's
that
Gate, that's that. Like,
man, that's crazy.
Yeah, and that's kind of like the thing we talked about before, novelty bias, where you can't follow the name of a game. You have to follow the people who make the game. Because it's like the whole thing with Ninja Gaiden. It's like the people who are making Ninja Gaiden are not responsible for what made this game amazing. Like I was explaining to Johnny in the Discord, like there's games made by passionate people with talent, and then there are games made by committee.
Yeah.
Games by committee don't have a soul. They only exist to because some suit said like, hey, let's get this director guy. This game needs a director. Hey, you go do this. This is your job now to make a new version of this game. Well, what happened to the old guy? We fired him because we're fucking morons and we're petty and we don't know any better.
Yeah.
And he thinks he's so fucking smart and cool. We can make what he makes. And 4 games later, it's like it turns out you can't. And like, and it was a while ago. Me and Tevin were talking about Castlevania versus Bloodstain,
Mhm.
and we were talking about like how people who have an issue with Bloodstain but can't wait for the next Castlevania. And it's like it's literally made by the Castlevania guy. This is what you're
Yeah.
looking
Like
for,
you're
but
getting your
because
Castlevania game right now. You
yeah,
are getting it. But you want the people who can't make a Castlevania game that technically own the rights of a Castlevania game to make a Castlevania game. And it's like, yeah, I want a big tittied Asian girl as my girlfriend and $1 billion too. Like, like, yeah, I want that. But it ain't gonna fucking happen.
yeah,
Because like the guy who makes the castle, who makes Bloodstain, he said like if Konami was willing to hire him back and he could make a new Castlevania game, he would.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but that was 10 years ago when he said that.
yeah. And since then, what have they done? Not Castlevania.
Yeah,
It's
haven't done
like
anything like that.
the
He's
God
he's
of
talking about
War.
making Bloodstain too. He's like, man, I can't
Yeah,
wait to make Bloodstain too. It's like it's just like, all
yeah.
right,
And
that's
so
where the future is.
and that's why I get frustrated with people who are just so convinced that just because the name of this game is Ninja Gaiden or fucking Castlevania, they're convinced. And it's like you don't have to be a loser like me that pays attention to the people to know that this isn't it. You really don't. And it's like, that's the other part that frustrates me. Like, one half is the game and the story behind that. The other is just people's willingness to just accept. It's it's Ninja Gaiden Black, dude. Like, first of all, that's offensive. That's not Ninja Gaiden Black. That's not Ninja Gaiden Black. They're just using the name Black because the people associated with Ninja Gaiden One Black, who was responsible for the first Black Tomonobu Edegaki. That
Yeah.
game is good because he directed it. And so now they're hoping people are ignorant enough to be like, Black 2, it's gonna be just as good. It's
It's the
like
same thing.
actually it's Sigma, the shitty one. The only good thing about Sigma is like the extra, like, oh, you can play as Ayane. I'm like, not good enough. Not
But
good
they
enough.
they both have black in the title.
So it's the same game, right? And then when you tell them they know it, they're like, well, I'm still gonna give it a chance. It's like, okay, and just like I said earlier, you're gonna play it for 30 minutes and get bored, or something else. Some other game's gonna come and pull your attention because this game already came out. It was called the Master Collection, the Ninja Master Collection. So you
Yeah.
just bought the same game twice.
Yeah, they got
Like,
you. That's crazy.
it's like,
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that was literally like a scam.
Yeah, it's a rip off.
Yeah, like that's crazy. So
I'm just like, I keep playing that fucking Arthur, was it Arthur, Joker scene in my head. You get what you fucking deserve. You get what you fucking deserve.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's like you'll buy the same game 4 times and complain about the same problems because it's not the game you actually wanted. And it wasn't the
Terrible.
game you actually wanted. For 15 years, it wasn't the game you actually wanted.
and
Yeah.
just
But this
think that
time, they'll get it right. This time,
yeah, it's like
it's
they and
all
they
black, bro. Like,
it's very simple and they can't give you what you want. But and it's just so simple, but it it's so simple they can remake the entire game, but they can't give you what you want. Don't you think
Yeah,
that
that's
that
crazy.
don't you think that it's more plausible and reasonable that like they don't want to give you what you want and
Yeah.
that they just want to give you this
yeah,
rather
you like
than
stop whining about the original. Shut the fuck up and take this bullshit. Sigma 2. You want Sigma 2. I want the
one
original.
thing
Yeah.
people say that I always find funny, they lost the source code. I was like, that's
Yeah.
funny. They lost the source code. But then like I say, well, how in the hell if they lost the source code were they able to do a 60 frames per second patch for the game on the Xbox One X and increase the resolution and stuff because like that game would have ran native like okay if you run it on the hardware that it runs on it's gonna run at however it runs but like if they had just re-released it on more powerful hardware, clearly it still runs at the same frame rate because, like you just said, the Xbox One S is clearly not weak. Like It's clear not just an Xbox 360. It's
Yeah,
stronger than an Xbox 360 because it can play Xbox One games, right?
yeah.
So if it can play Xbox One games, it's like Killer Instinct and whatever, right? I know there's not a lot of them, but
Yeah.
it's clearly stronger than a 360. So then why can't it play a 360 game at a higher resolution than it came out at a higher frame rate? And it's because there's probably a problem with the game itself. Like you have to optimize the game itself, so that it can run better, you
Which
know.
means somebody has
It's
to have the code.
yes, that means somebody actually has to have had the original source code or rebuilt it,
Yeah.
or they rebuilt it. In any case, if they're able to re-release the game to where if you have this console, it runs at 60 FPS and at 1080p, 1440p. Why can't they just re-release that on Steam? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Why can't they do that?
Because the Edagaki made it.
Yeah, it's
So
It's
you
best.
so
so
that's what I mean.
so
Like
you
people are so quick to just believe whatever a developer says. And it's like when like there's other pieces of evidence like around you that don't make sense. Like just on a common sense level, you're like, well, this just doesn't make sense. Like, you know,
so Josh, you think that they purposely put the Sigma version of Ninja Gaiden out just to be petty towards
I,
Itagaki?
I don't think I know. I know it for a fucking fact because that breakup was so severe. Like I think Electric Underground described it best. It's like, yeah, Edagaki was dad and Tecmo was mom, but mom got mad. They got the divorce, and she took us with her. But we secretly know that, man, dad had us. Dad, he took good care of us. But mom is so fucking petty. She's like, well, you don't get. I can make that. Here's that chicken stew that your dad always made. I can make it. It looks, it tastes all right, mom, but it just doesn't have that kick. Well, too damn bad. Like, and the thing is, it's like, I like how so specific Ninja Gaiden 2 is. They can't escape it because the existence of Sigma is them trying to overwrite Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah.
They are trying their damned hardest to be like, look, guys, you don't want Ninja Gaiden 2. Look at Sigma 2. It's got all this extra content. You can play with Ayane. You can play with Momiji. Isn't this great? And every single time people are like, this game feels off. I remember the first Ninja Gaiden 2 being so much more fun. The damage values are off. There are way less enemies. This game is easy. There are certain modes missing that are like, look, if this is like supposed to be the better version, why is shit missing? It's supposed to
Yeah.
have everything. And then here they come with Black saying the definitive game, and it's just Sigma 2 with a
yeah.
shit coat of
It
Unreal.
literally is Sigma 2. Like he's not even like joking, like it's like Sigma 2. Like it literally is Sigma 2. Someone went through the file, like went into like the files of the game and the character models like Ayane's character model, like the new one, the old character model is in it.
Yeah.
Like
You know what I'm
like it's
saying?
literally
That's
on
real.
top of
That's
it.
really crazy.
It's literally they built a skin on top of Sigma.
Yeah, it's exactly what they did in Spiral Reignited Trilogy. Because Reignited Trilogy, the base Spiral game is running under that game. That's why that game is so good. Because it is the game.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
It's
literally the same fucking game, right?
yeah, with a coat of paint on top of it with slight minor tweaks. Well, not minor, but
Yeah.
but and I'm
I know
like,
what you mean.
yeah, and so when everyone keeps saying like, it's Ninja Gaiden Black, it's like that's false advertising. That's Sigma 2 again. And like I said, you already released this horseshit on Steam. And it was like, meh. So, and it's like, no matter what these fucking people do, that's why I keep
Yeah,
bitching
they
about
can't
so
they
much.
literally can't make their own games. Like it's real easy to get caught up in the hype of things. And like this is when I know it's a problem when like you can't when there are obvious like little issues and problems like this and you get that feel in the back of your like throat where if you say something about it, people are going to get instantly mad at you or they're instantly not going to want to put up with it. They're instantly going to disagree. Like,
Mhm.
like they're defensive, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And it's because you know you're seeing something that's a problem, and you know that you're about to ruin people's fun, and you don't really want to ruin people's fun, but at the same time you don't want to
Now I
swallow like bullshit.
now
Like,
I do want to ruin people's fun. Like I look forward to arguing with people, and I shouldn't because that's negative. That's that's
well,
not a
it's
good
more
thing to
that it's
do.
just a waste of fucking time. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not trying to argue with someone, but I am trying to confirm, am I not insane? It's more like, hey, this is what I'm seeing. Do you see this? You know, because sometimes it's like you see something and then someone else is like, oh, well, it's this, this, and this. And you kind of see like, oh, okay, I didn't consider that. You know what I mean? But it's
yeah.
like, that's why like you have to talk to people about ideas that you have, or, but if people are going to immediately get mad at you or whatever, I don't want to hear your negativity, blah, blah, blah. It's like, then you never get to
Ruining the
actually,
hype. You're ruining
yeah,
the hype
you're ruining the hype type of
for this
stuff.
shitty version of the game.
You don't know. You're not God. It's like, yeah, I know. I'm not God. I don't know. Like, it could be good. I'm not saying I am, but I'm just saying, like, you have this game where it's already a game that was made, and it's literally Sigma 2, the version of the game that people have decided is the worst version of the game. And it is a skin on top of the worst version of the game. And it's misleading because when you see a game called Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, you're assuming that it's going to be like Ninja Gaiden 1 Black. Like, oh, okay, I see. So this game is like the first game, but retuned to be more like they're gonna give me more challenge. Like they're gonna like it's going to be more difficult. This is gonna be the definitive version, I guess is
The
what I'm trying to say.
reputation of
Yes,
this is the expectation,
this
and
is going
it's
to be the
like
best version of the game, and it's going to finally be like what I was expecting. I was like, oh, so they did a re-release of vanilla Ninja Gaiden 2, but of course they said let's just remake it with new graphics, because people won't understand the difference between a vanilla Ninja Gaiden 2 and the master collection we just made. Like, people won't be able to see the difference on why they should buy vanilla 2. So why don't we just make a remake with new graphics, but it be vanilla Ninja Gaiden 2? I was like, but look, call it black and then have a new difficulty mode or something. That's what I was expecting. I was like, oh, okay, but then like, you know, over time I saw like, oh, wait a minute, like, I'm glad I waited. This is just Sigma, and it's like, then why in the hell am I buying this game, and why did they call it black? Like, that's really why didn't they call it a Ninja Gaiden Sigma remake or remastered or re something? Like,
they wouldn't have
uh,
flown, and they
yeah,
know that.
because it would. Yeah, you're right. Because it wouldn't have flown. Because people would have been like, "Oh, Sigma again? I already got that." And so it's they know that graphics are enough to like, what do you call it? Distract people. Like, oh, new pretty graphics, and then like they won't pay attention to the other like problems. But if those problems were laid out on the screen for them, like obviously, the graphics wouldn't save it. They would be like, oh, what the fuck? Like, so they have to also hide it behind this other stuff so that and then that's why it's available now. Like, that's why it was available that day, because if
Mhm.
you had given people time to analyze it, people would have been like, wait, hold on, what?
Yeah,
Like,
this is just
this is
this
just
is
Sigma.
yeah, and
Like,
everyone's already decided that Sigma is like meh. It's not a bad game because it's hard to make a bad Ninja Gaiden game, especially if it's already made.
well, yeah, like
But
that's the thing, but it's not about that. It's kind of like, again, if you made a fucking chocolate cake and you make one of the best chocolate cakes in the fucking world, then I take the recipe and then I say, well, I'm gonna add just, a tablespoon of salt to the recipe. And yeah, it still tastes okay. But man, it would be so much better if you just didn't adjust the recipe to add that tablespoon of
Yeah.
if
salt.
you
I
did,
wish I could just have that original cake that I ate. It was so fucking good. But you just
yeah,
have the recipe guarded and knowing just I lost the recipe. But I have all the fucking. I have the recipe, but I lost the recipe. It's
Yeah, I
like,
have the recipe
okay,
enough to make my own version.
yeah,
So why don't you just get this one instead? It's just as good. Why
Yeah.
are you
yeah. It's
acting like it's like, come on, dude, it's
okay.
It's
still
still,
chocolate cake.
yeah, it's chocolate. You like chocolate, don't you?
It's
It's
still a
chocolate.
chocolate cake.
Yeah,
Come on.
stop being
It's
so
mostly to
picky.
stop being so petty and picky. It's like, well, when you're asking me to spend how much this game costs, what, $40?
$50.
$50,
Oh
you
my
best
God.
believe I'm going to be picky. Like, I'm not going to just,
$50.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so yeah, no,
And
I'm
it,
good.
and it's just
I'll just buy Sigma. Like that's the way I kind of thought about it. I was like, I'll just buy I would just buy the Master Collection
yeah, because that
with the mod. Like,
the master collection I think is $40.
yeah, and you get 3 games, and like there's a mod for this for Sigma 2 that they're doing their damnness to try and turn it back into vanilla Ninja Gaiden. And I'm like, honestly, if they're able to achieve that, that will be better than this because it will have all the content in the game and it will play. So it will be the version that I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
The only thing it will be missing is new graphics, as and I really don't care about that to be quite honest, because I feel like honestly, this game doesn't look bad at all, but it doesn't really have that look to it that the Ninja guy, like that old Team Ninja used to have back in the day. Like their look used to look real clean. They used to have a real clean like look to how their stuff was, but now everything like their stuff looks really like I don't know how to put it realistic. Like they try to make things look more realistic. There's more like atmosphere haze, so things blend together. Things just
Yeah.
have a lot of like. What's the best way I can? I don't know if I can. Can I link a screenshot
Yeah.
in the what do you call it? I don't even know where I would fucking put it. Where would I put it?
Yeah. Yeah. You just have to present it uh and then I can put it up or share your screen.
Yeah.
But
How do I? Hold on. You
you
said
have to
what?
share your screen.
Okay. Hold on. Let me do this. And then, okay. So how do I share my? Okay. How
You
do I?
go to present, right? And then it'll give you the option to share your screen.
Where's present? Oh, okay, I see it. All right.
Mhm.
Share screen. Let me make a new screen for this. It over here.
But yeah, the way so I never really got into the Ninja Gaiden games like that. And this was my opportunity to get into it. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to play this game. It looks awesome. Like I don't have the nostalgia glasses, you know. I haven't seen any. Well, I have seen it in the past, but it's been so long. So me jumping into this, I was like, I'm a essentially new player to Ninja Gaiden, really. And this was my opportunity to get in. But once I start seeing everything that came out, as far as like the game not being what it's supposed to be, and you know, it's the wrong version of what we really wanted, I was like, please don't do this to me. Please don't do it.
Look, uh, can I just like share you the link?
Yeah,
Because I feel like it'll be easier. Hold on. Let me get the copy link, and then
you can share it in the private chat here.
okay. Yeah, because I feel like that'll be easier. You can just put it on screen.
But yeah,
But
like I just can't believe like what happened with this game. Like you guys probably already know, but you know,
that's just a comparison shot between the original Ninja Gaiden 2 and Black. And
yeah,
it's not both look like technically good, but I much prefer the original because one of the things I don't like about remakes is like they always end up like reinterpreting things about the character design. that one,
Yeah, I see
it's
that.
unnecessary, and then two, the character doesn't look the same. Like, look at her lips. Like, I feel like that was a defining feature of how her character, her face looked. She doesn't look.
Yeah,
She doesn't have any of these defining features. And also, why is her clothes so ragged? They're ragged and dirty and have all this stuff, but here
yeah,
they're
you're right.
clean. Like, so it gives off this clean, like, aesthetic. Like, the whole thing is like, it's this clean, just, like, what do you call it, like,
It's like it's a
just,
smoother look to
yes,
the
it's
character.
smooth, it's clean, but like, when you look here, it's like everything kind of blends together. The light is hazy, the sky is purple, like this,
It's
like,
the
purplish. It's like
it's the
this.
Yeah,
issue of Dead or Alive 4 to Dead or Alive 5. Because the Dead or Alive 4, if you look at that game, even though Dead or Alive 5 had more realistic graphics, the goal wasn't about realism, it was style.
Yeah,
Because the
yeah,
reason why, like, if you look at Dead or Alive 4, it seems to, like, it looks flawless in the sense of that nothing looks like this. The Dead or Alive 4 was the best the game has ever looked. It was the only reason why five got away with everything was because people were so convinced that the dollish features were like bad, and the fact
yeah,
that the girls look real now is good. But when they go back and look at 4, and I remember it was one of Jan Lee's win pose where he goes like whoa, and like shakes his fist. He had veins and everything coming out of it. I was like,
yeah. That shit looks
did
so sick.
yeah, that
It's
wasn't in Dead
so
or Alive 3. It
clean.
wasn't in Ultimate 2, but it was in 4. And so 4 was like they did a lot. And we saw it, but since 5 was new and everyone got distracted with the we are real fighters, look at the sweat, we boo boo on ourselves, it's dirt and shit everywhere. And it's like that was cool. That was I ain't gonna sit here and say like none of that shit was
Yeah, it
interesting or
still
whatever.
looks cool. Like, you go back at it and it looks cool, but like, I get what you're saying. Like, from DOA 5 and onwards, it's like they lost that clean, like, slick, like, art style aesthetic, and they started going more towards a, like, realistic. Hey, in real life, you get dirty, everything's dirty, like, grit. And it's like, all right, at the time, I will say that was the style because you didn't see it a ton. Or, well, you saw it with Call of Duty and shit. Like, the Western industry was doing it more, so everyone was trying to jump on that. But it's like, it's still going on, and I feel like they're doing it unconsciously. Like, look at, like, her robes here, like, that's going around her neck. Look how just frayed and, like, it looked like she hasn't
yeah,
changed her clothes in, like, weeks. And it's just like, like, these are idealized characters.
yeah,
Like, they're not real. Like, and I don't think, like, she has a giant naginata on her fucking back. No ninja fights like that. I don't
yeah,
care. Like, I want her to look smooth. I want her to look clean.
yeah.
It's like, and
So
I don't know,
yeah,
it just doesn't look like as good to me. It makes me just think like, damn, man, like, just because something has updated graphics, it definitely doesn't mean it looks better. It's different, you
yeah.
know?
I agree with you. Like definitely the version up top, you can tell that the colors like pop. Like that's a distinct
Yeah.
style as far as like coloring goes. Like I love that compared to the remake. The remake, like you said, it looks kind of dusty and dingy. Like the color and life is sucked out of it.
Yeah.
Right? Right. Where if you go to the top one, you look at the top one, you can it looks vibrant
It
and,
looks
and
good
full of
forever.
life. Yeah.
Forever it'll
Full of
like
life.
10 years later I'll look at that and be like, wow, that's so bright and colorful and full of life. My vision's going, but man, there's enough brightness in that picture to remind me of the way it looked.
Yeah.
And it's like, and for me, that's why, like Dead or Alive is like my favorite fighting game. And Ninja Gaiden was like right under that, secretly my favorite action game. And it's like I can't help but bitch about this type of stuff because it's like, yeah, like it it's just frustrating, man.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
frustrating to see that people are so willing to accept like, and I don't want to be like, oh yeah, you're not allowed to like the new stuff. It's like you like whatever you want, but you have to acknowledge this can't. This isn't good enough. It's
Yeah.
not good enough. So stop rewarding them for like half effort because, like, like the black mod for Ninja Gaiden 2. So you mean some nigga in the basement can make a better Ninja Gaiden 2 than the people who own the game, the
Nah, they
franchise?
lost
Yeah,
it, dude.
yeah, the
He
regular
found
man.
it. He found it though. He found it.
Yeah,
He found the source code. They lost it. He found it. You
And
know.
it's like, so it was that easy. But you guys come out here with Ninja Gaiden 2 Black, and it's still not at the guy's mod. So you're intentionally avoiding anything Edagaki had more
Yeah,
influence on.
that's
That's
what I'm saying. It's like when you look at stuff like this, you're like, this is where y'all want to go. This is not necessarily like, because if you didn't want to go in this direction, you just wouldn't. And so, okay, so to wrap up what I'm trying to say, it's like the idea is that these people, they can't really make a new Ninja Gaiden game. They can't even remake really an old Ninja Gaiden game because they tried that, and they can't even adjust the old Ninja Gaiden game that they made to fit what people want. So what can they do?
yeah.
Like all they can do is make their new type of games like
Ninja Gaiden
Wolong.
4.
No, I'm talking about like Wolong and Rise of Ronin, which no one has been talking about.
Neo.
Well,
Neo, they
they
can.
haven't made it. They haven't made a Neo game. Look, I would give them Neo. The Neo's sick, But when was the last time they did anything with fucking Neo? Shit, a long time ago, right? So it's
Yeah.
like, um, but Rise of Ronin and Wolong came out and crickets,
Yeah,
crickets. Like no one's talked about that. And so it's like, okay, so I mean, just think about this for a second. Like honestly, like consider what I'm saying. They actually made those games. They
Mm.
made Wolong. They made Rise of Ronin. Those games are crickets. No one's talking about them. We can assume that they probably didn't do so high.
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay, so they can make video games still. They can make video games, but they can't make Ninja Gaiden 4. They have to ask somebody else to make it. So it's not that they're
yeah,
just so like we just don't make video games at all, that we just can't make video games at all. But that's not true. They just did it. They just made some games,
yeah,
but they can't make Ninja Gaiden 4.
Yeah. It's like, I don't believe
So it's like,
you.
isn't that bad? like that if this was like, honestly, even just Dead or Alive, if this was another franchise, if this was Dead or Alive and then Harada was coming out, yeah, we're making Dead or Alive 7, guys. Everyone would have their fucking panties in a wad. They'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Tekken is making, well, the Tekken fans would probably be like, haha, funny. And they would be like,
Finally,
you
it's a
know,
real fighting game now.
finally it's a real fighting game. You'd have that. But I'm talking about like the actual fans of Dead or Alive, they would not be happy. They would be very mad. They would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This
I
is
don't want
bullshit.
to
And
play
it's like,
Tekken or
yeah,
Alive. I want to play
I
Dead
want to
or
play
Alive.
Dead or Alive. And it's like, oh, well, what does it matter who's making it and blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, it starts to matter when you care about the details.
yeah,
Yeah. If you just think of it as, well, whatever, it's just a 3D fighting game. Then it's like, okay, well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But
nothing matters. Everything's a fucking meme. Haha. And then when it happens to your franchise, now you care. Now
yeah,
you're
yeah. No, I should have cared. I
so
should
it's
have
so
cared.
I guess that's where I feel about Ninja Gaiden 4. I feel like I wish this game honestly was not called Ninja Gaiden 4. I wish it was something else. Because then
yeah,
I could actually probably get like into it. I could be more into it. I could be like, oh shit, okay.
yeah. I'd give it a
Uh,
fair shake.
yeah.
Instead of immediately shitting on it because I know everything is wrong. It's like, oh, you guys you're getting platinum, the guys who can't keep anybody to make your game.
Not only can they not keep anybody, but they're literally your competitor. So you're gonna get your competitor that can't keep anyone
Yeah, who's a
to make
shadow
a
of their
game
former
that you
self.
can't make.
It's like everything that could
Wrong.
possibly go wrong
Yeah, it's
has
like
already
everything
gone
is
wrong.
wrong. And the only thing that's keeping people's interest is that it's called Ninja Gaiden 4. I mean,
Yep.
if this game was called something completely different, like it was called Yakumo, the crow of silence, and
Ninja
uh
not Gaiden.
whatever, right? Like people would, then the only people who would be interested in this are character action fans, which is a lot less. The character action fans would be like, "Oh, dang, a new character action game." I mean, it's kind of like they were like, it's kind of like Ninja Gaiden, like it's a ninja. I guess they gonna do they kind of spin on Ninja Gaiden. That's kind of cool. I want to see what they think, how they would design a Ninja Gaiden game. That's kind of cool, and that would be it. Everybody else would be
Yeah.
like, "Oh yeah, another platinum game where they make some stuff." Like if you weren't a platinum fan or a fan of character action game, you wouldn't give a fuck about this. But because it's called Ninja Gaiden, that's one of those series that I never played before. But everyone says it's really good, and it's back.
Mhm.
I have an opportunity to play it now.
Yeah.
It's like you always had an opportunity to play it. You can just go play it,
Yeah.
but it isn't new. It isn't shiny, so I don't have an opportunity to play it. I have to play the new one. But it's like, all right, well, this isn't made for me. This is
Yeah.
made for platinum fans. Platinum fans, because like honestly, when I look at this, I'm like, this doesn't even really look like Ninja Gaiden.
See,
It looks like a platinum game.
I it looks like it's made for me. I love the way this game looks. I like you said, it looks like a platinum game. And I
Yeah,
like platinum games, so
I mean, yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be a good game. That's the
yeah,
thing. Like, or at least it won't be a shitty game. You know, like
yeah.
the problem is like, I came to Wendy's to get a Baconator, not a Big Mac. That's the
That's
problem. It's
that's
not
different.
necessarily the quality of the game is what I'm talking about. It's like, okay, yeah, great, but if you had, I mean, what's a dead franchise that you really love, Herbert?
A dead franchise.
That you really really like?
Oh,
You know what, Castlevania?
Wild Arms.
Okay, Wild Arms. Okay, okay, Wild Arms, great. That's good. All right, let's say Square said we're gonna make a new Wild Arms game. We're making a new. Oh well, Wild Arms doesn't work actually the same way because there's no really returning main characters, I think, or anything. It's like brand new each game, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, that doesn't count. Uh, and the systems in that game changed too. It's kind of hard. The point,
I was gonna say Shinobi, but that's been brought
well,
back.
it's coming back, right? But
Yeah,
like, yeah, but imagine like some franchise that you really like and it's been dead for a while and it plays in a particular way that you like and it has a main character that you really like and you're
yeah,
like, man, I haven't been able to play a good game like this for a very long time, and I had no clue, I had no hope that it was going to come back. Then it
yeah.
finally gets announced, but the main character is barely there, he's in the background, there's some new guy, and
Oh yeah,
the game doesn't play like how you like you would like it to play. It plays like another game. It plays like this other game over here. But so you're like, did I really get like a sequel to, you know,
yeah,
by franchise, or am I
yeah. It
just
sucks.
playing another game called this? And it's like,
They've done
you
that
know,
like with so many games too. They done with
yeah.
it sucks.
So that's the problem. It's like,
I
you know,
thought I thought there was that kind of happened with Metal Gear Solid 2 a little bit.
yeah, but Metal Gear
Where
Solid 2
but
plays like Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2.
yeah, that's what I was about to say, but the gameplay just
Like it is
still
Metal Gear
awesome.
Solid still. It's just
Yeah,
that the main character is not the same. It's
yeah.
like, okay, well, that sucks, but
But yeah,
like,
that's I thought Metal Gear Solid 2 was gonna do what you're talking about.
yeah. I mean, at least it's not as bad as Metal Gear Solid 5. That's horrible, but like,
Mhm.
but at least with Ninja Gaiden 4, you know what it is. Like I watched the trailer and know what it
Yeah,
is. Like it's not like 5 where
and see, I have the like I was saying before with Ninja Gaiden Black too. Like I have no prior experience or a little prior experience with the Ninja Gaiden series. So
Yeah, see,
me coming in and playing this game, like I'm clueless. I'm clueless to what Ninja Gaiden was or has ever been. So me coming in and playing it, like I don't even know. I don't even remember how the older Ninja Gaiden games felt. So me coming in and play this, like I'm not gonna have any problem with it because like I
yeah,
don't know.
Yeah, right.
which is
No,
fair.
and
I think
and
that's
that's what they're taking advantage of. I don't
Yeah.
think they want the old fan base, to be quite honest. Like I think they do. Like they want the old fan base that's going to be loyal to them no matter what because it's called Ninja Gaiden. Like they want those people, obviously. Like and any company does, but I think that they know that a lot of people haven't played these games.
Mhm.
And so they're like, okay, well, here's an opportunity to play our version of the game, Ninja Gaiden
Yeah.
2 Sigma, essentially. And um, here's a new game. But my problem is that that doesn't even really work because they're they're gonna play Ninja Gaiden Sigma 2, and that's still a Ninja Gaiden game,
Yeah.
And then they're gonna play this,
Yeah. It's
and
different.
they're gonna be like, okay, this game kind of plays different. And either they're going to like Ninja Gaiden, and then they're gonna be like, I don't really like the way this feels, or they're not gonna like Ninja Gaiden, and then maybe they like this, but then why would they buy this if they bought Ninja Gaiden 2 and they didn't like it?
Yeah.
Because they're gonna say, well, it's Ninja Gaiden. I already played that game. And I didn't like it, and so it's like it doesn't make sense to me. That's why that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like
Yeah.
uh, I don't know. It's kind of but whatever.
So,
Like I
so I'm curious, like Josh, what are you hyped for this game or not hype or don't care?
I want
Um,
this game to fail because like
I
I'm
knew that
like
was coming.
yeah because like this this is like in my opinion an abomination on every front because it's not Ninja Gaiden. So you got rid of the guy that makes Ninja Gaiden and you got rid of the studio that makes Ninja Gaiden. What the fuck is this? Like what is this? Like I feel like it's this company is being ran by a fucking rat on a hamster wheel because it's like everything that made and it bothers me so much because it's like it had to be it's one of those cases where it's a legacy game and the fix is so easy. It is so easy, and you're going out of your way to not do it. Fuck you, fuck you. I hope you die in the fire. I hope this game rots in the hell. I hope it comes out and a week later no one talks about it, just like the Ronin, whatever. So it's like, how sweet would it? Because like I can only imagine what Edagaki's thinking right now. Because like, dude, he alone gave Tecmo anything. Tecmo was doing jack shit before he showed up, and they went back to doing jack shit after he left. Because
that's
like,
so true.
and
God.
it's and I hate it
It's
when people
crazy.
they make it seem like he's just a pariah. He's the most American Japanese guy I've ever seen in my life, and that's why he was so fucking cool. Because he understood what Americans like, back when America was cool. So he was just like, I'm gonna take all that shit and put it in my video games. Dead or Alive, Americans love fucking pro wrestling. Dead or Alive.
Mm,
Americans love super violence, action, blood, and gore. Ninja Gaiden.
yeah.
America loves titties. Dead or Alive beach volleyball. And he's like, and Tecmo is like, during that era when Team Ninja came up, it was like, dude, this is like that interview they had with IGN back when fucking IGN was I guess worth a damn. I don't even know,
Yeah.
but it's my favorite interview. Like every now and again, I just go back and just watch it, just to because I remember when I first saw it back in the day. They were talking about Dead or Alive 3, and Jeff Keighley, ironically enough, like he was in the interview talking about how like uh, Microsoft was looking for games that really show off what makes the Xbox the Xbox. And Dead or Alive was one of those games. You couldn't see it on nothing else. Like Dead or Alive Ultimate 2 and Dead or Alive 3 was like those were Xbox games.
Yeah.
You can't see this game on a PlayStation, and if you did, that's the shitty version. DOA
Bro,
2 hardcore.
so bro, I hated that too. I hated that. Like my stepdad, he still had DOA 3. I never did get like the DOA 2 on Xbox, but man, I hated that. I was like, man, Xbox sucks, but I gotta play it to play DOA.
Because I'm like, back
Like,
then,
man,
it goes beyond just the games. But one of the video series I want to work on is like it's based on nostalgia, and Dead or Alive 4. Dead or Alive 4 is the game. It is like the most prolific memory I have is DOA 4 because it's kind of funny, and it may be a little bit of just you're just pulling stuff out of thin air because now you know what actually happened. But when I first saw the commercial for Dead or Alive 4, I didn't know it was Dead or Alive 4 because my parents didn't let me play video games. The Xbox 360 was either on the way, about to come out, or it was announced. So my brain, the only thing I knew back then was Dead or Alive 2 Ultimate, which was like the best Dead or Alive has ever been, and then Dead or Alive 3.
Yeah.
So I'm in school, Miss Powers' food nutrition class, and we had TV there. And I'm just like, blah, 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 yada, yada. And then, matter of fact, can you pull up the commercial? Because I'll find it and then send it to you. Matter of fact, can I share my screen or share my whatchamacall? All right. I think I need to unmute this tab. I think I muted it. There. Okay.
Yeah, I remember this commercial, dude. Those endings are so clean looking, dude.
Oh, okay. When I first saw that, it was in 9th grade. It just popped up on the TV. And the part where, I'll walk you through what I was thinking when I saw it, because I just happened to look up, and I saw that. And I was like, wow, that looks pretty cool. Is this like a kung fu movie? Because he's a new character at the time, Elliot. So I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever, yada yada. That looks really cool. It looks like a game. And then I saw this silhouette, and I was like, that looks like Hayate. But keep in mind, we had this little bitty TV that's all the way in the corner of the room, and I'm like at the back of the class. So right here, I'm questioning, like, is this what I think it is? Because right now, my only memory of DOA is 2 and 3. 360 is out. I'm like, well, my parents don't buy shit, so I'm never going to see a 360, but whatever. I don't care. The idea that they could be making another sequel to a game that I love on another console hasn't even occurred to me yet.
Yeah.
So when I see this guy from like several feet away, I'm like, that looks like Hayate. I can't tell. And then it zoomed in. I'm like, nah, that really looks like Hayate, but I still don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And then I saw that. I was like, that looks like Hayabusa, but again, it's so far away, I can't really tell. And this frame right here, I started crying because I knew I wouldn't get this game anytime soon. And I was like, this is another Dead or Alive game. This is another Dead or Alive game, and I can't have it because my parents don't let me play video games. They're for sure not going to buy me another Xbox because the first one pissed them off.
Yeah.
I don't know what this Xbox is, and you keep asking for new games, or you don't get to play it anyway. So I'm like, okay, we've established at this point it's Dead or Alive. Okay, now that I'm sad, what the fuck is going on? Why is everything on fire? Who is that? I was flipping away. Why is she standing around when everything's blown up? Oh my God, my wife. It's like, who's shooting at my baby? If she has a cut on her face, what's happening? And so I didn't even see Hayate behind her right there. But Everything's on fire. I'm completely confused. I don't know what the hell's happening. And then this asshole is like, "Oh, by the way, I can shoot Kamehameha waves." I was like, when could you do that? Okay,
Yeah.
sure, why not? And then when the heart sank right there, Dead or Alive 4. And then it's like, oh, guess what? 360. You ain't getting that shit no time soon.
Oh man, I know that had to be heartbreaking.
Yeah, dude, it that was like pain because it was like this was back when it's like if you didn't have it, you just you're nobody. You're
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
nobody.
wrap.
And
Yeah.
it's like so I've never forgotten this commercial. This is the like for me, this is like the defining moment. Like this is like the memory that will never be topped. Kingdom Hearts
Man,
doesn't come close. Nothing on the Dreamcast comes close. When it comes to like stuff that I like remember vividly, I remember where I was sitting in the class, which class it was, what
Yeah.
time of the day it was, who was in front of me, and what everything just stood still because I was like, this is it. This is the game I must have. And so and of course, like years later, finally got the game. And again, Dead or Alive, in my opinion, best best ending credit game sequence for a game ever.
Yeah.
Because of Tomonobu
Man.
Edegaki, I like Aerosmith, and he knew exactly where to put what. And back then, when I beat it, I couldn't put my finger on it, but something felt wrong. This felt like this is it. This is the last Dead or Alive game. I'm like,
yeah. I
why?
think that I think he knew that they were gonna fuck him over while they
Yeah,
were making the game because like that game gives off that air that feeling of this is it. And then at the very end it's like, but if I can, it's like right when Zach comes in and saves Helena, it's like
there's a little
maybe,
there's like it's just a slight possibility that
yeah,
back then, again, I was sad because I was like, you're really gonna kill because one of I like Dead or Alive was the one game where I liked everybody. There wasn't a character I thought was annoying. There wasn't a character I thought was lame. Everybody was cool, and that's why I was so fucked up when the Dead or Alive 5 came out and Leon wasn't there. I think I think Tevin, you were there when I was just like really beat up over the fact that Leon wasn't in the game. It's like,
yeah.
gosh,
I
he's not
remember
even
being
fucking
annoyed.
paying.
I was
Yeah.
like, who gives a fuck, dude?
Like
It's like he'll come back. Like, who cares?
when you said that, I was like, I give a fuck because it's not a Dead or Alive game unless everybody's there. Like Dead or Alive doesn't do this, but I was
Yeah,
coping hard back then because I was like, oh
yeah,
yeah, it's Dead or Alive is finally back, and I spent $250 on a stupid statue for a shitty version of Ninja Gaiden 3 in order to play it.
yeah. I remember
So
that.
I
Yeah.
was like,
I remember when
maximum.
I was like, I'll just wait a day and download it from the internet. I was like, I'll just wait a day and download it.
So
Like,
I was
yeah,
like, dude, this isn't right, man. Like Leon's supposed to be there. Every Dead or Alive game has the tag battle, the time attack battle. It has everything there. Even the menu is different because in every Dead or Alive since
yeah,
two, you scroll through all your modes in the main area, but on 5 they had
yeah.
everything off to the side. I was just like,
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like at 5, that's when like things stopped looking clean and sleek. Things started looking like dirty and like
realistic and
realistic and
gritty.
standard. And I remember feeling that too. I was kind of like, man, there's something about this game that's a little off. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know what it is, but I was so happy, like you said, that DOA was back that quite frankly, I just ignored it because I was just like, man, DOA is back. I
Yeah.
never thought DOA would come back. Like when
Yeah.
DOA 5, when that trailer for DOA 5 came out, because I remember distinctly ignoring Dimensions. I didn't give a fuck about DOA Dimensions. I was like, who cares? It's
Yeah.
just a recompilation of all the DOA games on the 3DS. I was like, so what?
Yeah.
Like, I don't really care about. But then like I learned there was more because then I watched the story mode for it, and I really didn't like Dimensions. I was like, this story mode is retarded. It recontextualizes the entire story as Hayabusa did everything.
Yeah.
Where it was like before, it was like different characters were different characters were the main characters of different stories, and
Yeah.
they accomplished shit. But then you rewrote the story to where like they accomplished shit, but if it wasn't for Hayabusa, they would have died.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he
Like
just
essentially,
carried
like,
everybody.
oh, Kasumi was fighting Raido, but she didn't actually kill him because Ryu came in and hit him with hit Raido with the decisive hit that allowed Kasumi to kill him. Or um well, I mean, Hayabusa did kill Tengu in the second game, so that was his thing
Yeah.
legitimately. But then in the third game, it's like, oh well, Ayane didn't actually kill fucking Tenra, you know. Hayabusa had to come in and chop him in half,
And saved the
and then
day.
like, and
And,
then as he was coming back,
Ayane
that's
was
when
there
Ayane,
too. He was Genra was fucking up Ayane and Ayane. And
yeah, and
then
Hayate had to shoot him with a blast together. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that was really fucking lame. And it's like, and then in four, it's like, oh well, Hayabusa would have killed Alpha 152, but he just didn't want to, and he let Kasumi handle it, and she fucked it up. And
Yeah.
it's
yeah,
like, bro, why did you do any of that? And it
Yeah.
was so much other stupid shit. It wasn't even just that. I remember watching it when I was in college. I was just like, why did they do that? I was like, I don't understand why they did that. It was already fine the way it was, and
Yeah.
I was like, whatever. No one's gonna give a fuck about this but me, so I'm just never gonna talk about it. And then like when they came out with five, I never thought that was gonna happen. I was like, holy shit! And it looked so good. At like, it still looks good. Like if you turn on five today, it still looks good. You know, like looks
Yeah.
really good. But it's like at the time, it blew my mind. I was like,
Yeah.
holy shit! Like it looks so fucking good. And I guess I was just awestruck that it was back, and I
Yeah.
was like, but Edagaki wasn't back, and Edagaki was vocal at the time too. Like it wasn't just that Edagaki was gone; he was in some quiet corner. He was talking hella shit.
Yeah.
He was like, that ain't fucking Dead or Alive. Like they don't understand that I built Dead or Alive in a very particular way, and they're fucking with the balance, and that will eventually cause Dead or Alive to die. And like, there's that interview he did with Emperor Cal back in the day.
yep.
And I remember at the first time I read that, I was actually mad at Edagaki because I was like,
Me too.
"Fuck
'Cause I was like,
you!" I was
why are
like,
you
"They're
being
bringing this back,
why are
and
you
you're
ruining my
fucking
good time?
you're salty because he's bringing it back. They're bringing it back, and you're just mad that you're not involved." But now, like looking back on it,
With context.
yeah, you're like, "Holy shit, this guy!" Because I reread that interview probably 3 times, and every time I read it, I'm like, "Holy fuck, yeah." I see what the fuck he was talking about.
Yeah.
Like he's not mad. He's specifically talking about like the different pillars he used when making that game. And he's talking about how like you like they're all important. He's like if you adjust one of them and lean on one too much, then you start to create an imbalance where particular fan bases have too much power and then they're going to want it all to go in their direction.
Yeah.
And then what you're going to end up doing is realizing you fucked yourself, and then you're going to try to like rubber band to some other shit. Like you're going to rubber band in the he was called it in the etchy. He was like Dead or Alive. It's not an etchy game. He was like it's not a hentai game. It just has just enough to be on the edge.
Yeah.
He's like like same thing with the action in that game. There's no blood in that game. He's like Ninja Gaiden is that game. He's like, but this
Yeah.
game, it's right on the edges of the stuff. It's like
Yeah.
right there. He's like, but it's not meant to be like he's like, so if you take this out, he's like, even if you don't adjust like the lewd things in the game, if you make the game less violent, it immediately becomes an etchy game. He's like,
Yeah.
just in context,
Yeah.
but then if you make it more competitive, then it becomes a competitive game.
Yeah.
Like if you take away the lewdness, it becomes a competitive game just by context. He's like, so these things, this trinity, which the three things he had was ease of play, like how easy it is to jump in and play the game, uh, the lewdness of the game, and the action of the game, like the violence. And he was like, these things balance each other out. He's like, if you start to focus on one too much over the others, then like you're gonna ruin it. He was like, and the problem is that he had with Dead or Alive 5, he was like, they tried to make it a competitive game, which I specifically made that game so that it wouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
He's like, and then now that they're seeing that that's not working, they're trying to turn it into a fucking porn game. He was like, and I didn't want it to be that either.
Yeah.
And then that's what people at the time hung him for. They were like, because they only took that quote out of context, and they were like, "You didn't want this to be a porn game, and you did X, Y, and Z." And it's like, I hate to
Mm.
say that I did that at the time too,
Yeah.
but looking back on it, it's like no, like you have to read the entire context of what he's trying to say.
Yeah,
It's
that makes sense.
like he's saying like, hey, we didn't sell a bunch of DLC costumes and do all this shit because like we were trying like he's not saying you don't have you shouldn't have any lewd stuff in the game or anything like that, or you should even
Yeah.
be light on it. He's saying be edgy. He's saying like be edgy, like be right
Yeah.
on that edge. He's like, but
It's
then something has to balance that out because if you
mhm.
just have that, that's how it's going to be viewed. So then it has to have like the ease of use to play the game. It has to have the action, like part of it, kicking people through fucking glass windows and shit, and you're doing all this crazy shit that has nothing to do with this the sex appeal part of it, you know
Yeah.
and all the shit, it can none of them can be stronger than one another or weaker. And he was like, they don't know how to keep that balance. He was like,
Yeah.
eventually it's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And he was
That's
right.
true. Yeah. He was definitely right. He
Mhm.
was definitely right. But
Because
he
that's
was
exactly what killed them. It was exactly that. Trying because they were like, oh, we're going to make this game super competitive, and then they were
like
like, oh fuck, this is not
esports.
working. Like they realized this mid promotion of the game. Oh fuck, this is not working right.
Mhm.
No, actually, no, we're no, we love titties. Like we're not like that. We really do love titties. And then
Boy,
people are like, so
it's
now
too late. It
there's
was too
two
late.
sides angry at them. They're like, which one is it? And you better subscribe to my side. You better
Yeah.
say titties, or you better say the competitive aspect. And so it's like they're fucked. They don't know what to do. That's why they're afraid to make another Dead or Alive game because they're just like, oh fuck, I don't want to touch this
bro,
shit.
bro,
Like,
you so hilarious, bro. You better say titties.
yeah,
Yeah.
you better say titties, like because especially with the current context of what's going on, and they know who's behind
Better say
influencing,
it.
trying to make the game more competitive. So they're like, "Oh, fuck that! You better not go with the competitive people because we know their ulterior motive behind it. So don't do that." But then
Yeah.
then there's other people who are legitimately competitive and don't have an ulterior motive. That's just like, wait, so you want to destroy the competitive part of what I like? Just so that you can jack off the digital women, go fuck yourself. No, I'm not doing that. So it's like I always like when I'm having this discussion, I'm like, isn't there a game we all like? That's Dead or Alive 5, right? Why can't we just have that?
Mm,
And then
yeah.
it's like that'll calm people down for a minute because they'll realize, yeah, that is true. Like that was kind of the game where we kind of all kind of got what we wanted with some compromises here or there. The compromises were acceptable. I'm like, okay, why can't we
Yeah.
have that, right? But
Yeah.
the thing is that Tecmo's not even willing to make that. I don't think, you know.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because there are people that are, in my opinion, there are people that are involved when it comes to advising them about how they should do certain things when it comes to content DEI shit, and
Yeah.
they don't want to make a Dead or Alive 5 because that would give like Coomers and stuff. They don't want to make that type of content for them, so they want to give them that content without giving them that content. And
Yeah.
so they're like, fuck, like we're put in a tough position right now, so we just won't make a fucking Dead or Alive. And people might say, well, what about Venus Vacation? They're making that right now. Yeah, that's not being sold globally. That's being
Yeah.
sold only in over there. So then the rules are different because you don't have to worry about appealing to global standards. You notice how like the term always changes whenever there's an internal term that gets leaked out. You never hear anybody call things global standards anymore.
Mm,
They
yeah.
stop using it. Like now everyone's using DEI. It
Yeah.
used to be social justice warrior. No one uses that anymore. Then it became like woke. People kind of still use it, but people get
Yeah.
ridiculed for using it now. Because what is woke? What does woke even mean? Okay. Anyway, and
Bro.
now then it was global standards. And these are all terms they made originally, by the way. Like
Yeah.
these are all terms they created, and then people
Yeah.
said, "Oh, that's the thing that identifies you." And then they said, "What is that anyway?" Anyways, and then they have a new term.
Yeah.
And so after DEI, what's going to be next term? And so that's what I mean. Like this, it's always like a fucking game. But
Yeah.
regardless, point is that yeah, they I think um Team Ninja is only Team Ninja in name. Like they're pretty
Yeah.
much not there anymore. Like they don't even in the games that they are making, they don't feel like Team Ninja games. They're just games. Like they
Yeah,
don't feel like Team Ninja at all.
it
Yeah,
sucks. It
confusing.
sucks, man.
Itagaki was the heart, body, and soul of like Team Ninja, and every game they made, because like everything he made was a banger. I don't think there's a single bad Itagaki game outside of until after he left. Devil's Third.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
while he was
Yeah.
with Tecmo, it's like 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 I said, that interview where he talks about like why did she choose Tecmo? It was down the street and it was close. So and,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
they were like, well, Tecmo wasn't doing good financially. And I walked up to the guy, the president at the time, and said, I want to make a game that will sell. And the president was like, wow, I like your confidence. Okay, I guess. And then boom, Dead or Alive was short.
Yeah,
It's like, I want these people, and we're going to do this, and I got you, bro. Don't worry about it.
yeah,
That's like, he's the most American Japanese guy. And that's why he has such a hard time. Like, there was actually this, Harada, I guess it was recent, but that thing you sent me, Tevin, that
Yeah.
thing Harada was explaining the relationship he had with
oh
Tomoe.
yeah. I read
Because
that article, or
yeah,
that not that post rather.
yeah, because Tekken and Dead or Alive had this really unique relationship with each other where anything Tekken would make, Edagaki would shit on, and his whole idea, and reading through that, like kind of getting an idea of how Edagaki was working, he was like he really took to heart how American, especially back in the day, like remember like the Sega Genesis and the Nintendo. Sega does what Nintendo. They
Yeah.
intentionally take shots at their competitor
Hmm.
because that's entertaining, just like wrestling. Where it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, he doesn't really hate each other, but this drums up a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
And his whole thing was like, yeah, this is Dead or Alive versus Tekken. Tekken is trash. It's just janky. It's boring. It's blah blah blah. And Harada, at the time Harada wasn't like the top guy at Tekken, but he was in it enough. And so Edagaki, and it's like Edagaki has a really good eye for people who are like cold. So
Yeah.
that's why he targeted Harada. And he was
Yeah.
just like, yeah, you're badass, so you're gonna be my frenemy. You're gonna be my adversary. And
Yeah.
Harada's like, okay, I guess. I don't.
Yeah. He was like, what's going on?
He's like,
Yeah.
hey, Harada, come play this version of Dead or Alive. And it's like, I played it. It was pretty cool. What you think? I mean, it's all right. Good. Yeah. So we totally beat Tekken, guys. We
Yeah.
totally
Hey,
destroyed.
it was all calculated and planned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like that. You don't get that type of energy anywhere in the industry anymore. Like everything is literally suits, corporate, by committee. You can't be too brash. And
Can't do
Japanese
this. Can't do
society.
that. Blah blah blah. Yeah, you can't be edgy. You can't have any ideas. Can't do anything. Oh, that's silly and stupid. Blah blah blah. You can't do. It's like,
Can't take
nah.
any risks. Can't be
Yeah.
too offensive. And I see
Yeah.
why he had a hard time in Japan because Japan didn't like that. But he
Yeah.
was like, I don't care. I'm American. We doing this the way
He had
they
the
do.
he had the idea of I'll just get a fan base over here. Like he already understood that back in the fucking
Yeah.
90s. He was
Yeah.
like, okay, if I can't get a Japanese fan base, I'll just get an American fan base. He's like, I don't really need you guys. I'll shit on you guys. And then like and then he couldn't just say it. He had to make the game literally opposite Tekken. It made so like after reading it, I thought it was just opposite Tekken just because it just so happened to be like how he designed like it was just like he designed the game and he just so happened to make the game in a way that it was no, but like he literally designed the game to where it would appeal to people who didn't like Tekken. He's like, I have to make this
It's
game.
people like me. Because
Yes.
remember when I played you on Tekken 6, I was like, I remember why I hated this fucking game.
Yeah.
Every time you get touched, you just fly in the air. They like that in a lot where everything makes sense. When you
Yeah.
get fighting.
Yeah.
Like so he intentionally made the game for people that that it wasn't like, that Tekken essentially they didn't have a fighting game for them. He's like, okay, well, and Tekken was like the leader at the time. So it was like, okay, well, I'm going to make a game that is literally opposite Tekken. And so it was like that means he understood Tekken very well to
Yeah.
be able to make a game that is so opposite Tekken that no other game is quite as opposite as Tekken as DOA. Like
Yeah.
Virtual Fighter is kind of like opposite Tekken, but there are still tiny few things you can bring in to VF, like block punishment, for example. You can say, "Oh, that's -12. I'm gonna do my 12 frame punish, boom, boom," right? Like you can bring that in. You can, oh, I'm gonna duck under the string and I'm gonna launch them. These are things you can still bring in from Tekken. You can't do that shit in DOA.
Yeah, you punish
You
me,
got to throw punish in fucking DOA
Yeah.
and
because you can't break throws. Like you have
So
to,
ugly.
ducking under attacks and launching, you won't get a launch. You will just stun them. You know,
Yeah.
it's
It's so
like
ugly.
it's literally
beautiful, flawless.
like these things. It's literally like if you play Tekken, those skills are not only not going to help you, they're going to hurt you trying to do
Yep.
this. Like you have to learn Dead or Alive. You must
Trying
learn
to
how
like,
this game works.
yeah, like trying to use spacing in Dead or Alive, like you do in Tekken, is like, oh, you might as well give
Yeah,
up.
you're stupid. Like you're stupid to do that because all you're gonna do is push yourself. Like if you're trying to, I'm gonna run away all day. Okay, you just ran against a fucking acid tank. And you're gonna get blown the fuck up and die, or
Yeah.
you just ran against a wall where you're gonna get knocked through and fall 50 feet to your fucking death.
Yeah.
You're better off actually
Stances.
running towards your fucking opponent because they're probably closer to a danger zone than you are. You
Yeah.
know, as rather than like let me run all the way to fuck over here where my back is against the fucking explosive barrel. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's gonna get you fucking killed. And he did it
Yeah.
in a way where see
Oh,
VF has
and
the
watch
same,
out! Watch out for the cars as
yeah,
you're
Oh, that's the
flying.
worst. That was the
yes.
worst.
See, like VF has the same concept, right? But in VF, it's more like, oh, the dangers are more simple. It's don't get ran out and don't get wall splat. But the thing is that I can reverse that on you. Like if my back is against the wall, against the ring out, let's say, right? If you're not a complete dumbass, you know that I can actually be the one that dies here.
Yeah.
I can get reversed and get rung out.
Yeah.
But Dead or Alive was like, okay, well, we're not going to do ring outs, and walls are not going to be boring, just wall combos. They're going to be like, okay, if your back is against the wall, unless you have there's going to be a high risk to reverse this person over here because you're going to have to do some hold that switches sides if you even have that, and then that
Yeah.
puts you at risk of being thrown for even more damage against the fucking you know danger zone or whatever the fuck that you're going to get hit, whatever danger zone there is to get hit with. And so it was like it was very very interesting. He took advantage of everything. Oh, that's a you're on water, so you're on a slippery floor. Lows cause slip stun. You know, it actually Dead or Alive is more in depth than people ever gave it credit for. But
Yeah.
it's in a way that is alien and foreign to
Yeah.
other 3D fighting games. So it's easy to just say, oh well, this game doesn't play like Tekken, so it's trash. It's just like this. It's like, well, it's just misunderstood.
Yeah.
And it's sad because this is coming from a guy that isn't trying to make the game a competitively viable game,
Yeah.
but he still actually made enough of a competitively viable game that anyone can play it. Like one of the things that always bother me is that people, and I'm sure that like Dead or Alive 4 in a competitive aspect is probably like the worst game competitively from what I hear about like some of its problems. But the thing is that like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Heritage for the Future is broken as fuck. Has pet shops shooting you with fucking ice, fucking sickles, and
Yeah.
all this crazy shit. Fucking Dio hitting you with 100 hit combos, so touch of death shit. Kakyoin putting invisible barriers on the fucking
Oh
screen.
yeah.
Like it's just
Pose.
crazy shit.
Yeah.
That like it's completely and entirely fucked up, and there's nothing you can really do about it if you play with certain characters. Like the balance in that game is crazy, but people play that shit hard.
Yeah. It's
People
so
love
cool.
that fucking game, and there's a competitive community behind it. And my thing is that like I don't like this new era of fighting games where balance is the supreme god, even if it eliminates fun. I don't like that. Like
Yeah,
people talk a lot about how much Dead or Alive 4 was just the worst, shittiest, like Dead or like the competitive side. They'll say that like it was the worst Dead or Alive game. Oh, it was so bad, blah blah blah. But y'all all played it. Y'all
yeah,
all played the shit out of it back then, and
yeah,
y'all liked it too. Like y'all didn't like it maybe as much as 3.2 or whatever, but y'all played it a lot and y'all loved it. And my thing is that a game does not have to be balanced for it to be enjoyable and have a good what do you call it, a viable and thriving competitive scene. It just can't be so completely obviously broken, like like to where you're breaking the
yeah,
entire game or some shit like that. But you
yeah,
can have like a variance of tiers, you can have all the shit. It actually makes the game more interesting,
yeah.
you
And you know
know.
what? I kind of want to talk about that too, like on like a maybe like another show or something too, because that's really interesting. Like why people gravitate towards games that are just in some people's eyes broken.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just the same people who say
Yeah.
they didn't like it and it was a piece of shit and blah blah blah. They were playing that game, and the only reason why I say that because people might say, "Well, that's for every fighting game." People were not playing Soul Calibur 3. I'm sorry.
Hmm.
That's what I mean. That game
Yeah.
was legitimately broken. Like that game legitimately had problems with variable cancel, and even if you took out so the base system was actually broken with variable cancel, so people didn't play it. And then even when you get past that, the character balance was fucked up. But I actually think that game could have survived character balance being fucked up, even though it was really fucked up. Soul Calibur 3 Shangwa is fucking so stupid. She's so stupid in that game. Herbert, she has
Yeah.
this move, Great Wall. It sidesteps, it ducks under highs, and it's a mid. Okay? But the fucked up part is that she can cancel it while doing the sidestep tech crouch.
That's cheap, but it's cool.
So what you would
It's
do
super cool.
is that you would just spam this move as movement because movement was bad in that game, right? Well, movement, you get hit on counter hit. So if you're gonna get hit on counter hit, you might as well just do fucking Great Wall to move because you're
Yeah.
gonna sidestep whatever it is. And you're gonna duck under it if it's a high. So if you see that it hit, if you see that you sidestep, you let it rip. Boom.
Yeah.
But if you see that, oh, I'm not gonna hit anything, you would just cancel it.
That's that's actually pretty cheap and like pretty dope at the same
It
time.
was, but
Yeah.
it was one of those things that we when you
Yeah.
are like a kid and you think you cold, but you're just spamming this one fucking move
Yeah.
just fucking retarded.
Yeah.
But
So
anyway, yeah, yeah.
I got one last question before we get out of here. Since we on the topic of DOA, like I just want to know, just for my curiosity, what is everybody's favorite DOA game? And a little bit why. And then we'll get out of here.
Four,
I'll let Josh go first. Yeah.
yeah, definitely four. But I like them all. Say five and six. I didn't even buy six, but two ultimate and three. I like them all. But if I had to pick, one above all, it'd be four because
It's a cool looking game.
it looks the coolest. It's the most fun. For a while, it was the Ultimate Two, but because Ultimate Two has a lot of stuff that four doesn't have, but four has a lot of stuff that two doesn't have, and it's really close. Like it's between two Ultimate and four, but I give four the edge because of like I said, the most prolific memory I've had in gaming. And it was
Yeah.
because of that game. And it's like, dude, if I didn't like that game much, it wouldn't be it. And so yeah, definitely four. Four means a lot to me.
Yeah.
It means a lot, and the feeling has only gotten stronger over the years.
Yeah. What about you, Cross?
Yeah, it's kind of tough. If I had to say, like, just out of the main line releases, like no re-releases that have additional content and shit like that, right? Then yeah, I gotta pick four. Yeah, I gotta pick four because overall, it has the most amount of like as a just a game. Overall, it's the best. The stages are the coolest. The character roster is the coolest. Like Like it's just the coolest boss. Alpha 152 is sick. It looks clean as fuck. Like everything is cool. It was just like there was no real the memories of playing the game online for the first time. Like that was one of the first times like I ever played like a fighting game online. That was
Mm.
sick. Like it was just sick, dude. Like everything about it was fucking sick. But if I had to pick like a re-release of something, it's DOA 2 Ultimate because the game is just like it's better. It has more content. The OST is the DOA 2 OST. I always have it's a toss up between 2 and 3 between the OSTs. They're both so good. Like, that's probably one of the only things about 4 that I kind of don't care for that much. 4's OST, it's not bad, but it's all right. But 2
Yeah.
and 3, like OST is
Yeah.
fucking amazing. Like they're both really good. The stages, the redone stages in 2 are fucking cool. Like they're really fucking cool. Um the replay feature, how you can go back and forward. I don't understand why only 2 Ultimate has that, where you can rewind and you can go forward, fast
That's
forward.
pretty cool.
I'm like, why didn't 4 have that? I thought that was fucking strange. And then fucking 5 didn't even have the ability to fast forward. I'm like,
Dang.
why does it keep regressing like, as the games come out? Like, what the fuck is going on? You know,
Yeah.
it's kind of stupid. And what else? Yeah, 2. If I had to pick like a re-release that had all the content and shit like that, yeah, it's 2 Ultimate. But
Okay.
if I have to pick a base one, then it's 4 because 4 just felt like the final kind of like crystallization of what Dead or Alive really was. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
me, if we're just talking about like a casual type thing, I can't decide between DOA 2 and DOA 3. Um, I think those games I think I had the most fun with, as far as my childhood. Even my stepdad would play DOA. My brother would play My brother, he's bad at fighting games. He told me one time, he's like, man, I will never play you in any other game, but I'll play you in DOA. you know. So lots of fun with my brother. Like I said, my stepdad. Just I had a good time just playing around in practice mode, knocking people off stages and all that good stuff. Now, if I were to say competitively, it would be DOA 5. If I'm just competing
Oh
and,
yeah,
and going to tournaments
probably.
and
Yeah.
things like that.
Mhm.
Definitely DOA 5 because I got a lot of memories in that game going to tournaments, like not expecting to win, not expecting to be the top DOA player of all time, but just to go in, have some fun, and play. Like I enjoyed playing that game competitively, especially with the virtual fighter characters in there. It just
Yeah, that was
it
sick.
just it just felt good to play. But that is all I have for today. Man, I just want to thank you guys for being on the show and kind of giving us all your wisdom. Like I always learn something new from you guys every time we do this show. So I appreciate you guys. Immortal Afro Cross. Uh, any plugs?
Yeah, of course, my YouTube channel, Twitch, the Immortal Afro. Follow me on Twitter or X at Eternal Afro Josh. I'm going to start doing my streams and stuff again pretty soon, as well as video collaborations with Retro Roy at some point in the future. So look forward to that. But that's all I got.
I am definitely looking forward to that. What about you, Cross? Any plugs?
I'm good.
All right. Well, you guys can find me on YouTube at H3 The Game. You can find me at Twitch, H3 The Game as well. I have a X or Twitter, but I don't remember what the name. Might be H3 The Game there too. But go ahead and like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff. Go to Mortal Afro's channel, subscribe and like his stuff. He has really good videos. Looking for more content from him whenever he comes out with it. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Hey, peace and be easy.
Peace.